by side would not work times two. I called Apple support. They didn't. We migrated it, used the cloud to go up and down. Everything was scrambled on my watch. Couldn't do, it was just, and all the third party
Okay.
sign-ons had to be done again in exquisite detail or agonizing detail. Called again and finally I had someone that had 2 years of experience with Apple. And so we did yeah, a side by side. And my last call with getting the Tesla connected, had a wonderful lady in Gulfport area of Mississippi that had been with Apple for 10 years. But they're all very,
Where,
very
really?
nice, but my
Yeah.
gosh, you folks that do every phones every year, I don't know. I have not had smooth experiences.
Well, no, just to piggyback on that a little bit, my wife and I have it's sort of a comedy. Like when we get our new phones for the first week after getting the new phone, it's kind of a disaster because every time you open an app that you use routinely, it now is in a new environment. It's like, wait a minute, I don't recognize this
Oh,
place. So you need to log back in. You need to do your two-factor authentication in some cases. We need to send you an email to verify. You need to click a link in it. Yeah, there's a lot of red tape after you switch your phone, logging back into everything. I guess that's a security measure and probably good for us, but the slider between convenience and security sure is way over on the security side
It's
after you change
not
phones.
Well,
my
the
that part of it was not as intense. Still some, but not the mess that going up to the cloud and then down. The side by side with the cable was better for some reason.
one
But
of the
yeah,
benefits
no,
of the
it's
two-factor, though, is I'm one of those people that does the phone every year,
yeah.
Yeah.
and every year there's less after crap, having to do new logins. I only had to do about five, maybe half a dozen sites this year.
It wasn't bad on the side by side, but some of the other one with the up going up to the cloud, I don't think I'll ever do that again. And then the watch, a whole different watch faces and the interface of going on to the, could not change as many things, just dramatically different when we did it side by side. My watch face came back the way it was, and hmm. But anyway, yeah. So, well, that's good
Well,
to hear you've experienced it getting better, Bob.
Yeah, it seems to do a little better every
I'm s-
year. The side by side is the fastest and most accurate, I think.
I'm
Well,
sorry. I stepped out to get some coffee.
We're talking
What? Yeah, what do
talking
you?
about going from older phone to a brand new phone.
And that's what you mean by side? You're just
Yeah,
yeah.
where you just
okay. Okay,
place the
thank you.
two instruments
It would go,
side by side.
it went all the way through. I had to do a face recognition thingy and choose my Siri voice. And then I was greeted all towards the end, with, what did it say? Um, it just would not, the transmission had stopped. And
I
yeah,
got something to say here, gang.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
This problem is caused by side by side. This problem is caused by the old time capsule crap. What's happening is we, for whatever reason, believe or were raised up in technology with the belief that somehow tethering something to something else with a wire is better. With these phones, the problem is when you call Apple or you call any other support, they want to act to solve the problem, but acting to solve the problem often compounds the problem unless you understand what's causing the problem. When you call support, anybody but me, I would venture, because I've never met anybody as thorough as me when it comes to diagnosing and researching problems like this. When you call them, they have a list of things to do,
Oh,
actions.
crap.
They start on their to-do list of actions. Those actions compound your problem because they have no understanding of why it's happening the way it is. And look, this is just general commentary now, but when you get a new device, honestly, all you have to do is make sure your old device has gone through its backup recently, and I'm talking about the night before. Or if you want to do another backup immediately, you can. You can say back up this phone now. But then you simply take the new device and you log into it with your iCloud, and everything else that has to happen happens automatically. Now, if that got messed up somehow, it's because somebody added steps in there that weren't the right steps, or somebody conflated the side-by-side utility, which, by the way, your two phones will talk to each other for a little bit to share as much as they can. Sometimes apps will allow a full password share. So that's more evidence to what Bob was saying about how this year it seems like there's less because the side-by-side mode is able to negotiate a bit. But the problem still remains that anything but a new device reaching up into the cloud, grabbing the backup download packet and mapping that over the new phone, that's the cleanest way to get this done. But people are still trying to struggle with cables and side-by-side stuff, and all that stuff is phasing out. It won't be long until you can't even plug something into something else anymore. So I don't know. I just think that there is an issue, in my opinion, with the advice that you get from these places. So yeah, if you can call me or reach out to me first with a complex problem, please do, because the likelihood that your problem is going to get better with anybody else is very low. And you don't need me to tell you that. You've experienced it enough times on your own to know that.
Eight
Yeah,
hours,
I
eight
ended up
hours of
doing the
fun.
iCloud one this year, Pete.
iCloud is the
And,
only reliable
and
way.
and rumors are, if you watch the rumor mills, that the 2027 models of the phone are going to have 0 buttons.
Oh, wow. Huh. But
Interesting
we,
thing, the cabling was
we,
what, when we went up to the web, that seemed to be, they thought when they looked at my watch, and I've updated my watch. I'm pretty good about those reminders. And they said, well, it looked like it had been 2023. I think that's when I got the watch. So I don't know. It was weird. Because when we went up to the cloud, it was just what came back down, unless we did it wrong there.
You
The
did it
other,
wrong.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we did do, because initially when I first booted up, it said, do you want to do it in, I was already running 26 on the 14. So I said load on 26 onto the 17, and it never asked for that again, despite the reformattings. Yeah, it was not a pleasant, but yeah. Okay. So next step, when my computer just said computer restarted because of a problem, and I click the report, send it in, and then go on my merry way. But this has been happening 5, 6, 7 times, despite a full shutdown, full turn off. Next step.
So you're
what,
saying,
wait,
so we're going
what,
back to the first question,
Yeah.
Which was, hey, I wake up in the morning to a message on my Mac that says, sorry, we ran into a problem, we had to reboot.
Uh-huh.
And you're saying this happens maybe 5 nights a week?
Well,
It's very common,
has it been happening every time? It's happened at
or
least
a few
5 or
times a
6
week.
times. I finally cleared everything off and shut the computer down and went about my business and came back and restarted the computer.
Yep.
I did remember to unplug and plug you back in.
These types of things happen when one thing I notice is with most of my clients, there's a very liberal spirit to adding stuff to your Mac. Is what I see. People love to add things, and they add nefarious things, really bad things like drive cleaner, spam filter. People liberally add stuff, and you can. That's the beautiful thing about freedom, is you can add whatever you want to your Mac. You can add every utility you want. You can add every software you want, and people get in this mindset and they think, oh, I need this software and I need that software. Well, there's a combination of old software on your machine, legacy stuff that isn't even supposed to be there, junk that got brought from, a combination of apps that you've installed that maybe you thought you deleted, but they're still in there. But what's happening is a conflict is happening on your Mac. An app is crashing or the OS is crashing. And because it's freezing up like that, it has to restart. And then you wake up to this message that says it's been rebooted. I think the message here is, and it's not a recommended solve for your situation, but it's a commentary on why this happens. And the message here is, be a bouncer to your device. Like be a bouncer. Staff the door of your device, whether it's a Mac or an iPad. Now iOS devices, not so much. Follow me here. iOS devices were built with reliability in mind. Apple did a whole different thing with iOS devices than they do with macOS. With iOS devices, they sandboxed it, which means they built very firm barriers around every app. The apps on your phone and your iPad can't reach out and do other things. They're imprisoned. They're in little cages. The reason your apps on your iPhone and your iPad are in little cages is because Apple doesn't want other people to be able to write software that can reach out and grab different things on your iOS device. They want it to stay in that cage. Why does Apple want software to stay in a cage? Because then it will behave like it's supposed to and it won't mess up a bunch of other things. This is why they created iOS, and this is why for 10 years now, iOS has been ultra reliable. It rarely crashes. It rarely malfunctions because all the apps are in cages and Apple doesn't allow homogeneous. You can't have an app that goes and reaches out and does other things. But on the Mac, you can. On the Mac, you can write apps that reach out. If I'm a developer, if I'm a good developer, then I'm being careful to make sure that I'm writing an app that doesn't hog up too much resources, that I've updated it so it's running properly. If I'm a bad developer, Adobe, I'm not updating my apps. I'm not making sure that they are running properly on the new OS. I am overusing resources on the machine because I'm a bad software developer. Well, how do you avoid bad software developers? You be a bouncer to your Mac. Your iOS device, not so much, but when you're installing something on your Mac, you take a good look at that before you install it. And you ask yourself, would Pete install this? I can already tell you the answer is probably no. And should I ping Pete before I install this? Because the installation of these fly-by-night apps who wrap their tentacles around way too much in your Mac are the reason all these conflicts happen. Spinning rainbow wheels, third-party apps. Crashes in the middle of the night, waking up to a restart, third-party apps. Your Macs are polluted with this junk. And irresponsible developers write apps for your Mac that wrap tendrils around a bunch of stuff that's none of their business. And so all these unexpected things start happening with your Mac. Stop installing stuff on your Mac. I promise you. And look, you have the freedom to do it. I'm not saying, oh, installing stuff on your Mac is a bad thing. I'm saying that there are so many crooks out there who irresponsibly write software for your Mac that anything you install is a huge risk of causing ongoing malfunctions for your machine, like we're experiencing with the question that just got asked. In fact, when I set up a new user, I say, let's make sure you have the tools you need and they're the right tools. And so a new user usually needs a web browser. So we make sure they're using Safari. And then the new user, you know what they like to tell me? Oh, I like Chrome. Can I get Chrome? And what I usually tell a new user is yes, but don't. You're adding a layer of complexity onto this machine now. Malfunctions will now be malfunctions will now have 7 places to check instead of just one. People will ask me, well, can't I use Microsoft Office instead of Pages, Keynote, and Numbers? The answer is, of course you can, but it was written by a third party, and that third party is somewhat irresponsible. They don't care about your Mac. They don't care about how much resources they're using. They don't care about your experience. So I am finding, or I shouldn't say I am finding, because it's been 2 decades now of watching people believe that an app is going to do something for them that it isn't, that it's going to clean or speed or fix or diagnose or defragment. None of those things work. So I would say the first thing is stop putting junk on your Mac. It's causing you a lot of problems. Run your machine lean. No antivirus, no apps that run in the background. Run it lean like it was intended. If you buy a Dodge Viper and you put a roof rack on that thing and you put a big cargo thing on the top of your Dodge Viper, you can do that if you want to. You have the freedom to do that. That Dodge Viper's performance is going to be significantly hindered by the cargo rack you put on the top of it. But you can.
I
The manu-
don't worry about being first.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
what?
do.
Oh, Anna, you're
Yeah,
not
I think the
muted.
mic was
So,
on.
oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, be at least weary of anything you might be interested in Mac OS. Now, like I said, iPad and iPhone are different because that's a different operating system that is sandboxed. Everything's in a cage and it can't cause those problems for you. But on your Mac, the same isn't true. There's no sandboxing, and those third-party app developers can write app that gets junk permanently lodged in your system until you do a full system restore. Those of you who get a new Mac and you say, somebody help me migrate my Mac over to the new one, I cringe. I die a little bit inside because what you are doing is taking all the junk that's bogged you down for the last 2 decades and you're bringing it with you onto a new $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 machine. That's going to get you 20% of the performance on that $3,000, $4,000 machine because you insist on bringing all the junk with you. You insist on bringing Quicken. You insist on bringing all these FileMaker Pro apps that were written 15 years ago that don't run on these new machines, but you insist. You gotta stop. You gotta stop it. You have a bit of a responsibility as a technology user to guard against this kind of stuff. Otherwise, you're going to be the kind of technology user who's just bogged down in problems all the time. And so I don't know. I have always felt very strongly about this. Choose your apps wisely. Think about how, this nonsense about I've always used Quicken, so I must use Quicken. I'm sorry, but the people who made Quicken were irresponsible. They did not keep up with the times. They did not make sure you had a place to put your files all these years. They abandoned you and they left, and then they tried to come back and they tried to be web only. Stop using properties that don't serve you well, like Adobe, like Intuit's QuickBooks. Like these things are just they a lot of times do more harm than good. So sorry, I'll get off my soapbox, and I didn't mean any finger wagging there. But you will save yourself so much headache by, 1, stop putting all that junk on your Mac. And number 2, when you get a new Mac, be brave enough to set it up clean. Do not migrate anything over. Start it as a new Mac. Now, you're going to start it as a new Mac, and then you're going to go, dang it, I need Word. If I migrated, I would have had Word. But Pete told me not to. Now I have to go out and get a new version of Word. Yes. Yes, exactly. Those old versions you're dragging from the past are slowing down your machine, and in some cases, making it crash at night. So the clean thing to do is indeed set it up as a new machine and then go to Microsoft's website and re-download a clean, modern, current version of Office and install it. But Pete, that's more work. I'd rather just let the machine drag all my dirty laundry from one machine to another, Pete. That's easy. I just click migrate. Well, go ahead. But look, all the problems followed you. Stop it. If you get a Mac, set it up as brand new and log into your iCloud account. Do you know what that will do? It'll make all your photos dutifully go and populate your photos library. It'll make all your contacts show up. It'll make all your emails show up. All that stuff happens. What doesn't happen is that all the junky third-party apps that you've installed over the years are now gone. And that Mac with that M chip in it is lightning fast. When you click something, it happens immediately. This is what you paid for. Stop covering it with all that junk. You don't need it.
But Pete,
So
if you have a bunch of those apps and you want to delete them on your current machine because you're not getting a new machine right away, you can't just hit delete, right? And I'm sorry, folks, but I thought this was relevant to what, because I know there's
Yeah.
some hands, but I
Oh.
thought this was relevant to what Pete was talking about.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
an
yeah.
excellent segment. This is an excellent segment. This, folks, is where you'll make your money for today's call is this segment right here, because those are the things that are causing you all your problems. Is you're clinging to third-party apps. So, great question, Mary. You're like, hey, what about present day? I'm
Mhm.
here now. I'm not getting a new machine, but I agree. I got a bunch of junk on here that is slowing me down. It's popping up. Drive Saver wants you to look at this. Drive Saver, Drive Cleaner, Bit Cleaner, Drive Photo Cleaner, all these things. What I would advise anybody with a little bit of courage here is you would back up your Mac and then you would nuke it back to factory settings as if it's the day you took it out of the box. It's factory settings. It's zero. It's at zero. It's like a brand new Mac you just bought. And then I would say set up as new Mac. As I was setting it up, I'd choose the option set up as new Mac. And then it will say log in with your iCloud account. I would do just that. I would log in with my iCloud username and password. And that Mac is now mine. It's logged into my iCloud. It has all my photos, contacts, all that stuff is restored. Now I have the interesting task of figuring out what apps I'm going to need on there. And that's where I need you to be really honest with yourself. I really need you to hold yourself to task and say, do you really need this app? And if you do, why? Why is it you want to reinstall Drive Cleaner that you used to use 20 years ago? Stop it. Those are the things that can significantly slow down your machine and do damage to your operating system to the extent that you're waking up to a machine that says it's been rebooted. So I do that every year. I nuke my Mac way back to factory settings, and then I go reinstall the very few apps that I use. Why do I use very few apps? Because I know that third-party app developers are largely fly-by-night, grab their money, and disappear people. I've learned that over 25 years of doing this, that those third-party apps want either your money or to show you ads. Those are the only two things they're in business for, is to get your subscription or to show you ads. They don't clean your drive. They don't diagnose your hard drive. They don't speed up your computer. They don't give you more room on your hard drive. None of those things are true. Sorry, but I'm so glad we talked about that, because that is, if anybody just today walks away knowing that, like, okay, I'm going to be better at this, then I've done it. I've made my mission.
Now we have several people
Kathy,
with their
yeah,
hands up.
hands up. Yeah.
For sure.
Kathy?
Yes. I saw that hand,
Or
Kathy.
yes.
Hi, it's good to see you, Kathy. Hi.
Hi, Pete. Yikes, that was a good reminder.
Yeah, so Pete, just following up, your advice to me at this point is nuke my machine or call you with
Yep.
steps on how to.
100%. Yeah.
It's been fine, and I don't know if what do you think about Google Earth?
I think Google Earth should be accessed from the web, and that you don't need a third-party app installed on your Mac to access Google Earth, period. You just don't need it.
Okay.
But Kathy, I'm sorry, back to your question there.
Kind of in the same vein, and now I can't find it, but my sister said that she upgraded her phone to something like version 26.
Which is the latest. Yep, that's the latest version.
But my version is like 18 point something. It jumped from 18 to 26, is that?
Yeah, what they decided to do is instead of numerical taxonomy, like each year the number would just tick up one, they decided to sync it with the actual year. So iOS 26
Oh,
is
okay.
26, next year it'll be 27. It used to be 18 because there was like a numerical count up, but they said, hey,
Right.
forget that, let's just do the year. So yeah, that's why the big change.
Okay, and I'm not sure if I've done it or not. I can't even, I don't know. But she said it really made her iPhone quite different. She was having to relearn.
Yes.
Well, there's definitely a new paint job on there, and things, they call it liquid glass, and so yeah, you'll see different sparklies and things like that. In terms of the use of the device and like where all the apps live and all that stuff, I think it's like 90% the same. There's probably a few more fly out menus here and there that you can access and things like that, but I think Apple was very careful not to disrupt people's daily workflow. I think everything is like mostly the same with
Okay.
some surprise and delight. You'll be like, oh, that's new. That's cool. I like that. But I don't think it's, unless anybody had a different experience after they installed iOS 26.
I would just say the phone part is the most different and most awkward for me. And I think Pete, you showed us how to go up, or somewhere, maybe it was iPhone Live, to go up to a little sandwich thing and to go back to classical view. And
Yep.
so I did not like what they did on the phone and the voicemail, and I just couldn't track with it.
Mm.
Okay. And I have one other silly question. Whenever I go, I have a Apple Tag, right? Is that what they're called?
AirTag?
AirTag, they call it.
And it's in my little wallet. And when I get near it, it starts beeping when I go to pull it out of where I keep it. Um, and I did replace the batteries in all my AirTags in my luggage and the one in my wallet and stuff. I mean, it's just funny. It's like, dee, 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 just
The
starts.
only thing I can think of is that it's alerting you that the battery is low, but if you
Oh,
changed it, I would change that one because they
yeah.
does do a battery low alert like that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's
Absolutely.
all for here.
Pete
Okay,
McDonough,
Mary.
did you? Oh, Peter lowered his hand. I didn't know if he had a question still. Okay,
Oh
go
yeah.
on.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have three questions that you kind of generated from your discussion this morning.
Great. Hey, I like that.
Okay, and the first is we've been recommended to have a backup browser. So, like, I have Chrome, I don't use it. So, that's one. Second one is I've been using Quicken for a gazillion years. So, if I did this clean the machine and then reinstalled Quicken because I'd have to have it for all the stuff that I need, at least like for taxes and stuff. Would my old stuff still be there? And would it be just a the brand new clean version of Quicken so it wouldn't have all the old crap in it? Is that kind of what you're saying? And then the third
Thank you.
one
Yep.
is if you do an iCloud install, like you were saying, you know, you have some stuff on your machine that is not backed up to the cloud, like do you just lose it? So those are my three questions, and I hope they're helpful to other people as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I like those. Repeat the first one. I got the install quicken question, and I got what was the first one?
About backup browsers, what do you
Oh yeah.
recommend on that?
Right. Okay.
Because I think
And
Ken recommended Firefox. Does that sound right to you guys?
yeah, that sounds like a Ken recommendation to me. Yes. Okay. Let's start with backup browser. Um, yeah, I think a backup browser. I think a backup browser is a legacy thing. I think this goes back to the browser wars. I think it goes back to HTML5 versus Flash. It goes back to the Adobe PDF licensing. There was a big war. You might have had a front row seat to it, or you might have missed it. But there was a big war over the past couple of decades about browser standards and protocols. Adobe wanted to own web video. Adobe wanted to own that. And Apple fought back and said, no, we're going to democratize. Nobody's going to own web video. HTML5 is going to be a open source standard. So there's been a big war that happened. And because of that war, there was a lot of browser incompatibilities, especially when the iPhone launched. I don't know if you guys remember, but there were so many websites that you couldn't even access because the web browser on the iPhone and the standards out there in the world weren't matching. So there was a lot of thrash in those days, and it was highly recommended to have multiple browsers because some didn't display Flash and some didn't display HTML5, and your bank wouldn't work on one and it would on the other. There was a lot of it. I think that's all settled down. The dust has settled for the most part, and I don't even recommend to my clients anymore to have a backup browser. If they have Safari, that is going to suffice. Some of you will tell me, nope, Safari does not work with X, Y, Z. My bank, this thing, it doesn't work. There's still quirks out there in the world where remnants of those battles still exist. So if you're one of the cases that does frequent a website where the Safari browser provided by Apple doesn't function the way you expect, then indeed you can get another browser. But just understand that whatever else you get is going to be a trade-off too. The other browser you get isn't going to be complete. You're just going to be using it as a crutch or a backup. What I did was, if there was any property in my life that required a different browser, I started to question that property. Why did that property not update their website that it can now be accessed by general web protocols and stuff? So I started to move away from anything that required me to use old browsers and stuff, because obviously they don't have my best interest in mind. But in some cases, like my friend, a close friend who works for the government, he says, I don't get to choose that stuff. They make me use this, this, and this, or whatever the case is. So sometimes you can't choose. Sometimes you have to log into a website that the Safari browser doesn't work with or something. But I guess suffice it to say that when it comes to a backup browser, you're going to have to bring me, if I'm the boss here, you would have to bring me a good argument to get a new browser. You'd have to say, Pete, I have evidence here to support why I need a new browser. I would look at that evidence, and if I believed it, I would say, okay, you may now get a new browser. Otherwise, I would say, nope, you don't need a new browser. Stick with Safari. I'm sorry, but it's just everything you add is a layer of complexity. And these things are already complex enough. And so when I sit down with a client and they have 4 browsers because so-and-so told them to get these browsers, that is staggering complexity for any user, let alone somebody trying to sit with you to help. So backup browser, make an argument to me why you need it. And if I like your argument, then I'll give you the thumbs up. I'll rarely like your argument though.
But Pete, the
Yes.
reason I think a lot of people got the backup browsers is there was a time when scammers were freezing your machine, and you had the solution to get around it was to have an alternative browser. That's my recollection.
Folks, don't ever get another browser because scammers are freezing machines. Scammers are not freezing machines. Scammers cannot use your browser to freeze a machine. Scammers can't do that on your Mac. So don't believe those things. Newspapers will print things. The Sacramento Bee loves to take pokes at the Mac and print these things about how you need. Don't believe it. You and your Safari browser are just fine, and scammers cannot get in unless you give them a Trojan horse, which is a third-party app.
Okay,
That's
thank
how the
you.
scammers get in, using a Trojan horse called a third-party app. Okay, that was the backup browser. Now Quicken. I haven't kept up with Quicken because I abandoned the company Intuit a long time ago. When I saw them floundering and not taking care of their customers in the era of like Mac OS 10, and when we switched from OS 9 to OS 10, and then throughout OS 10's maturity, Quicken and Intuit kept figuring out how to draw money from your purse, not how to make the software work. That's where I took umbrage with Quicken, and I said, forget it. If a company's going to show me that they don't care enough to get the software to work right, and they're more concerned with creating subscription schemes to take my money, I'm out. So I went and found something better. Now, if you're stuck with Quicken because that's just what you did, and that you're going to stand behind them even though they're kicking dirt on you, well, then I would ask you this question. Do they have software that's current? Because I really don't know. I guess I should check with ChatGPT, but does Intuit create software that is compatible with Mac OS 26? Or did they go and do everything in a browser online now? Does anybody know the answer to that? Is Quicken making software for today's machines, or are they still trying to get you to install software from
Browser
10 years ago?
Well, they do updates a lot. I know that. But
update.
and
Okay,
I
so
have
go to
never
check.
had trouble with Quicken, so and I've been using it for, I don't know, 20 years. So
Well, have you had trouble getting it to behave properly when moving from machine to machine?
no.
Okay, well, you are lucky. Quicken, let's see. Quicken.com. Okay, so it looks like they've gotten their act together into it. It looks like they are, or maybe they've been acquired by somebody else because I don't even see Intuit's name on here. So Quicken was probably acquired by somebody, and now they looks like they do have software that you can download, or is it? Oh yeah, here it is. Download Quicken Simplify app, download Quicken Business and Personal app, download Quicken Life Hub app, and download the Classic Companion app. Okay. Well, if Quicken is responsibly updating their app and they're allowing you to log in on other machines and be able to see all your stuff, then perhaps my judgment of Quicken needs to reassess. I need to go take a look at the software. They were one of the ones that abandoned us early, so I usually hold grudges when you do that. But it looks like maybe they got their act together, and I will take a look at them and see. But if they are a responsible third-party developer, then they have an app that they update often, which you said, Mary, which is encouraging to me. And they allow you to log in on your machine or any machine and see your stuff. So to answer your earlier question, you said, Pete, if I redid my machine all from scratch, like you said, and then I downloaded the latest Quicken version and logged in with my username and password, would everything be there? I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, that Quicken keeps all of your things indexed in their server, that you wouldn't be just holding a local copy. So with the app, when you logged in, I gotta believe that they're gonna populate all your information from the info that's saved on their server. Unlike yesteryear, when you had to have a Quicken file that went along with your app and that you had to open that particular file. I think now your info is stored in their cloud, and when you log into Quicken from any device, you just put in your username and password, and there's all your stuff because it's on their server.
So
So I,
generally that's the truth for any of the apps, is what you're saying. Like Microsoft, it would be the same thing.
yes, like let's just take social media, for instance, if you have Facebook, right? All of your Facebook past posts and timeline, feed, messages, none of that lives in the app. The app is simply a looking glass into that information. The app is a looking glass. All that information lives on their servers. So when you install an app, it's locked at first. It says, oh, you want to look through the looking glass? What's your account name and password? When you put your account name and password in, it gives you a direct view through that looking glass to your account, which lives in the cloud. It doesn't live on your machine. Same thing with Quicken. I'd imagine that you're looking through the Quicken's looking glass into your account, and that you can do that from your phone, your iPad, and your Mac. And if they are a responsible third-party developer, then they're updating their app and they are taking good care of you. If you're happy with Quicken, that's good for me to hear. I'll revisit Quicken. I'll start asking some clients and stuff about how they feel about it. But there was an era where they turned their
Yeah.
back on us, and I don't easily look back at a company after they turn their back on me.
They were purchased by Aquiline Capital Partners in 2021.
Oh,
Oh,
That is very
okay.
encouraging then. They were bought in 2021. Whoever bought them looks like they're trying to turn things around, which I'm applauding over here. Good luck to them. Yeah.
Okay.
well, thank you very much, Pete. I hope that was helpful to other folks as well.
We got
Can
another
I give you
question
the,
there.
I'm the Luddite when it comes to Quicken. Why even use it?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I like that. I'm with you. Why even use it?
my,
But
And the
why
my,
would
reason
you
my,
people
use
will
my,
tell you, the reason people will tell you is because I've had it since
the
1987.
register in my checkbook, handwritten, works just fine.
well, yeah, but it doesn't, it's real hard to find that history
Bob.
of what, what was my car insurance for the last 4 years. I find Quicken very, very helpful for looking things up
Oh,
Well, if
and
you have historic data, indeed, if
yeah.
you've been putting stuff in Quicken for 25 years and at your fingertips you can say how much have I spent on soda pop. It's so cool that you can
but
get
how
big
often do you
data of
need
your
that?
Well, I do
right,
need it
true.
for things like when did I get that last, because I don't remember. When did I replace the HVAC? When did I buy, because something goes wrong on my stove? When did I buy that? I don't remember offhand, or whatever. Uh,
I I
anyway,
can answer
I
those. I can answer those questions you just asked from a different source.
well, you maybe can,
My
but
calendar.
I like using Quicken. I mean,
Yeah, different strokes
it
for different
works for
people.
Yeah,
me,
Yeah.
you know.
because
Yeah.
And
if
I
somebody
know my
came to the
sister
house,
uses an Excel spreadsheet.
if somebody
So,
came to the house
Uh-oh,
to
don't do it,
repair
Pete. Come
something,
on.
it's on my calendar.
Uh,
I can find it in 2 seconds.
I speak harshly about the Quickens of the world, but it's only because I refuse to be mistreated by people who I'm handing my money who are making things for a device that I use every day. You better come correct if I'm going to pay you to be on a device that I use every day. You better show up for me. And if you don't, I'm cutting you. Don't, if you don't do what you said you're going to do, you ain't getting my money anymore and I'm deleting you from my device. So I'm a hard case when it comes to an app. I gotta look and I gotta see who's making this app and what are they making it for and what's their pricing scheme and what problem do they say it solves and does it solve it? But yeah, and today I'm going to share with you some apps that I highly recommend. But we've spent quite a bit of time on
right.
the Q&A and
We
current events. So
we got a couple more questions there and maybe wrap it up after them. They've had their hands up a bit.
yeah, a couple questions and then a quick recap of what was announced yesterday. There are some great announcements that's going to shape some upcoming workshops and stuff like that. So, okay, let me get back with you, Bev. Go ahead.
You're muted, Beth. We can't hear you.
I've come to Apple somewhat late in life, and so I still struggle having learned on Windows and PC. So I still struggle with Pages and Safari and bookmarking things. Okay, I need to spend some time there. But in the meantime, when you rent Windows 365 and do pay them annually, is that a cleaner way of using Windows? Not having an old hard one, but is that coming from the web sort of thing then more, or yeah, I think it's downloaded onto my machine.
Oh, okay. Do you mean like Office, like Word,
Yeah,
Excel, and
The
PowerPoint?
Office
Okay.
suite. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm sure I sound like all third-party developers are horrible, but Apple does have some alliance partners. Apple does have some people that have stepped up to the plate for users. Microsoft happens to be one of them. Did you know that Apple's best-selling software is Office? That's the number one selling software for Mac is Microsoft Office next to Apple's own software. So number one is Office. That's a big deal. They're a big partner. And back in the day, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs did a lot of negotiating because Steve Jobs knew that in order to get new users, they were going to have the answer to the question be yes when they asked, can I use Microsoft Office on here? So Microsoft is a reliable third-party developer and they're a partner to Apple and their app is updated very frequently and they've done a good job of keeping their app modern and operating properly for consumers. So I put Microsoft as a yes. If you ask me, may I install this, please? They're a yes. Microsoft Office is okay. But people still try to install old versions of Word and stuff. Just install the latest version of Microsoft Office, even if it looks different, even if you don't like the way they changed it. Too bad because technology is going to move ahead with or without you. So install the new version of Microsoft Office, get used to where all the buttons are. But yes, Office is an approved third-party software suite that I highly recommend if you are in the business world. If you're not in the business world and you're using, your Mac for personal stuff, you are perfectly fine with Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, Apple's iWork suite. It's free. It's already on your Mac. Stick with it. You can export to Word if you want. You can import from Word if you want. You can export to PDF. It's super powerful. So I don't recommend you install Office if you don't have a need for it. But if you do have a need for it, you get my thumbs up. Office is indeed a reliable third-party app that does not slow down your Mac and cause performance issues like some of the less responsible developers.
And I have
So
if I know we're tight for time at this point, but when I download things, not download, like there's a document, like the genealogy at the library, a document, it automatically ends up opening in Adobe for me, even though I know how to open something. If it's already in, I can click and open it in preview, but
yeah,
it seems
so
like
Bev, I think what
Adobe's
you
an essential out there on some people's documents.
No, Adobe is non-essential. Adobe is to be eradicated. The reason things open with Adobe is because Adobe has taken charge of your Mac and said, I'm going to check what kind of files she's trying to open, and I'm going to hijack it if it's an Adobe or if it's a PDF. I'm going to hijack it. It's terrible. Their practices, their ethics are terrible. So if you do have Adobe software on your Mac, expect it to do unexpected things. Expect it to pop up when it shouldn't. Expect it to interfere with other apps and expect it to behave very slowly and very sluggishly. If you have it installed on your Mac, it's very difficult to remove. They've made it nearly impossible to get all the remnants out. But if you do have Adobe acting up on your Mac, you should probably schedule some time with me so I can supervise, walking through and getting it all out of there, if it's even possible. This is really bad in the way they.
When you do a full reboot back to factory settings, does that get rid of it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I do it
Mo
every year
mo
to sanitize it, make sure there's no Adobe properties on there.
Most of the Adobe apps nowadays have uninstall.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't uninstall. It takes out the app and maybe it takes out the preferences file, but it leaves in a bunch of tentacles that get wrapped around a
Okay.
bunch of things.
But the
Anybody who's
other thing Bev needs to be shown is how to, for example, for PDF, how to use the get info routine to reset that all PDFs would be open with preview.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe you could
Maybe that's another
do that
class
sometime.
lesson on cleanups and things.
oh yeah,
Well,
that's coming.
it's a real simple thing.
Yeah.
Talk with you later then.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Hi,
Barbara.
Barbara.
Hi, I have two quick questions. One is when I signed on to the meeting today, there wasn't any audio. And all of a sudden, I went into the audio settings, couldn't find anything. All of a sudden, a little message popped up that said, if you having trouble with the audio, turn up the volume. So I clicked on it, but the volume is like super, super loud. And I tried using the keyboard to reduce the volume, but I can't do it. So how do I reduce the volume to a manageable level? That's my first quick question.
Are you on a Mac or an iPad?
Mac.
In the upper right, you should see the volume, the little in the upper right of your screen on the menu bar. Do you see the little speaker icon?
Um,
The only way you wouldn't see it, I think, is if your file menu up there was hidden. But do you see the strip at the top that starts with the Apple logo and then says File and
Actually, what I see is the Apple logo and then the Zoom Workplace.
Right.
so you're in Zoom.
Yeah, that's because I'm in this meeting.
And then and if you go across to the other side, you don't see a little speaker icon. There's no little speaker up there.
I don't see one.
How about on your keyboard? Do you see a volume up and volume down button on your keyboard?
Tried that, it didn't work. I tried it both on my keyboard and I tried it on my Mac keyboard.
If you go to settings, the little gear icon, open your settings app. There's an audio panel, and you could look there.
Where's the audio panel? I just opened it.
Yeah, did you open settings?
Yeah. System.
Yeah, you should.
or system settings now, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you in Tahoe, Barbara?
No, I'm still in Sequoia.
Okay, because
In
it
settings, you
changed.
should see something called sound. So look for sound
The
in settings.
location changed in Tahoe, of what Pete's talking about.
All right, I see sound, so I click on sound.
There you go. You should have levels there.
I see alert volume, alert sound. So output volume, is that what I want to do? It's very low on my screen. It's a very low volume already for output.
Strange. Something weird is going on then. I don't know how to help you troubleshoot unless you share your screen. I could help you troubleshoot, but something is amiss because if your volume is showing very low but it's very high, you may need to reboot your machine. Something's wrong.
Okay, I'm looking at the output. Should I look at the input since it's coming from Zoom? Should I look at input?
Well, input means if you have an instrument plugged in or if you have
Correct.
something plugged into it. Output is the sound you hear. Input is sound you're putting in. So
Mhm.
yeah, you probably want to just reboot your machine. Something's wrong.
Okay, the other one, my other question I think is super easy. Sometimes when I'm in Safari on a web page, I will do something with a mouse and all of a sudden the text will be super, super large. But I don't know what I did. I don't know what motion I made with the mouse that caused it. So I don't know how to undo it. So then I have to close out the, the page I'm on and come back. What motion am I doing with the mouse that suddenly makes the screen, text be like super, super large?
Are you using a mouse with a mouse wheel, or are you using the Apple Magic Mouse?
Apple Magic Mouse.
Okay. The Apple Magic Mouse's smooth surface, like its turtle shell, is also a touch sensor.
Right.
That's what's doing it. You're accidentally zooming because that touch sensor can take zoom and pinch commands. So something about that touch sensor is causing your text to inadvertently zoom. What you could do is go into your mouse settings and just turn off that sensor for now, and make it so those accidental presses don't keep happening.
So when I go into the mouse settings, what am I going to be looking for, Pete?
You'll go into settings and then you'll go into mouse. And then from there, it's all menu driven. So you would read each thing, and one of them will say the touch sensor. You would say, I don't remember exactly what it says, but once you get in there, it's menu driven. So you'll go, oh, hey, there's the thing that says don't swipe the touch thing anymore, and then you just turn that off. And then that should eliminate them for the time being. But if it doesn't, let me know.
Okay.
But that's my theory is that pesky little touch strip is picking up commands when they don't exist.
Yeah, that's what I figured too, but I didn't know what command it was doing, so I didn't know what to stop.
What command it's doing is zoom. If you do your fingers like this, pinch out on that mouse, it'll zoom your text in.
Yeah. No, I know I wasn't doing that. Anyway, I'll look into the settings and see what I can.
No. You might have been, but not on purpose. The way your fingers go on the mouse and off the mouse could be inadvertently triggering that gesture. So what you'll do is you'll just turn the touch off.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep. Okay, what else? No other questions? All right, let's dive in. A lot for you today, as always. But I want to start with an announcement that took place yesterday. It's a really big deal for those who are creatives, or not even just people who want a canvas on which to put some, whether you want to make a flyer for the church picnic or create a marketing piece. I just got to show you now. You know that in terms of creative suites out there, suites of creative software, there's really the juggernaut, right? The 800-pound gorilla, and that's Adobe. Adobe has a product called the Adobe Creative Suite. The Adobe Creative Suite is made up of Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. 3 pieces of software that make up the Creative Suite. It's very much like the commercial suite of Office or iWork, right? You've got 3 apps in the bundle. You've got Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Adobe's got Photoshop, Illustrator, and Publisher. 3 apps in the bundle that serve very different purposes. Well, in industry, Adobe is the standard. When you go to a graphics house, it's almost always they're using Adobe Creative Suite, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, which is their publisher equivalent. Some years ago, 20 years ago now, after becoming Photoshop certified, I decided that I have an irrational hatred towards Adobe. And I really believe that it is an incredible snapshot of corporate greed that we've all had a front row seat to for the last 20 years. Their product is bloated, almost unusable in some cases. They won't spend the money to update it. They treat their users really badly. And so for years, I've been trying to figure out what to use besides that. Because as I've stated, I won't continue to give a software developer my time or money if they prove to me that they're not hardworking, which Adobe did. So a long time ago, I started using a bundle, a creative bundle called Affinity. Affinity is by a company called Serif that's based in Europe. They're a British company. Serif is the name. The product is Affinity Bundle. And so it used to be 3 apps. It used to be Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, and Affinity Publisher. Those 3 apps directly competed with Adobe's Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, direct competitors. Well, it's hard to unseat the champion because Adobe's been in industrial design houses for decades. But they made such a splash that they were acquired by Canva recently. Canva, the online creative suite, acquired Serif's Affinity Bundle. Well, just yesterday they announced that that Affinity Bundle will now be free for everybody. Pay attention, folks, because this is where I highly approve of you installing some third-party software. I've been using the Affinity Bundle for probably 5 years now, and it is extremely reliable. They update it constantly. It is incredible to use. And workshops coming soon. We're going to walk through the Affinity Bundle, the new free software that you can all freely install on your Mac or your iPad. And we're going to talk about why it's a must-have companion for all your devices, at least the design one, right? Because we all have a need sometimes for just a blank canvas that we can drag things onto and move around. And then maybe we need a triangle and a circle together so we can make a symbol for something, or we need some text on that canvas. This is my recommendation for every Mac and every iOS or iPad is to have the Affinity Bundle on there. Have a look. I saw Al a few minutes ago before I even mentioned it, put it in the chat because he's on it like that. And I would highly recommend taking a look at and even installing the new Affinity Bundle. It has a new green icon with the letter A. But if you are somebody who is creatively inclined at all, get that app on your device and start tinkering around with it. It is extraordinary. I use it both in my personal life and in my career. It's open every day, and I use it for many things each and every day. It's incredible. So the Affinity Bundle, now free for everybody. Highly recommend you grab that.
Is it different from the previous versions?
Good question. Yeah, the previous versions were all 3 different apps. The previous bundle was called the Affinity Bundle, and it was Designer, Photo, and Publisher, all 3 separate apps. They've now combined everything into one application called the Affinity app. And in that application, you have toggles to switch between vector, pixel, and layout, which are basically Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign replacements. So now you get all 3 apps in one, easy to toggle between them, and it's free for everybody. But they say if you have a Canva Pro account, even better for you because you are now paid into accessing all their AI features. So it's free for everyone. You just stop at AI. They don't let you use the AI features unless you're a Canva Pro member, which many of you probably already are. Then you just simply punch in your Canva Pro credentials and you get access to Affinity's AI features. These features are things like you can circle a person or a thing in a photo and say, take it out. You can say, make it snowy outside, and it'll do it for you. The AI enhancement to this thing is incredible. So if you have a Canva Pro account, you can really have some fun. I recommend, they put out a lot of good videos yesterday. I recommend that if you're interested in this, just take a look at their website, because have a look. They've really done a good job of laying out what is in store for you as a user. There's lots of things here that show you, what it's capable of. So you would just simply get Affinity, you would download it. It's free. You make an account, and once you install it, you'll have access to all these tools. In my opinion, a must-have on every Mac, because Apple never really did this. They never really came out with their own creative suite. They don't have an Illustrator or a vector tool. They don't have a photo editing tool besides the Photos app, which gets you all the way to the basics, but not really too advanced. And they don't have a layout app. So in the absence of Apple creating these things, I think a company like Serif's Affinity, which was bought by Canva recently, is a must. You got to check it out. So I highly recommend watch a couple of the tutorial videos that show you what it can do and how, and then maybe dig in and try your own things with it. But it's just a blast. And I am an expert at Affinity. I use it every day in my professional and personal life. So if you get stuck or you need to get into a project with it, I can be your guide. You can email me if you get stuck, or you can email me if you have questions, and I'm happy to give you some help there. Okay, let's dive into the topic, shall we? Which is shortcuts. Oh, you're in for it, you guys. Look at this. Look at all you are in for it. I have a lot to talk about here today. I wrote a lot of notes down about shortcuts, but we're going to start out by keeping it simple.
Pete, I don't suppose that PDF might be available, huh?
Hey, Al, I'd send you anything, man. You just ask me for it, it's yours. I'll send it to you. Absolutely. Okay, let's just talk. Let's just talk shortcuts, because man, there's a lot of misconceptions, and there's a lot of intimidation that's not necessary, and there's a lot of just wrong think, I think. So take a deep breath. Let's talk shortcuts. Shortcuts has lived a long life, but it wasn't always called shortcuts. Some of you remember back to a charming little robot that they called Automator. An Automator was a Mac OS favorite. In Automator, if you were so inclined and a little bit nerdy, you could step into the world of, and this is important, step into the world of if-then statements, because that's really all coding is. That's all that app was, Automator, and that's all shortcuts is your ability to create an if-then statement. That's it. So if you apply that logic and you think to yourself, not in terms of software, not in terms of technology, let's get our heads out of the technological gutter for a minute, and let's think more in terms of just life, like a peanut butter sandwich, let's say, a peanut butter sandwich, in my opinion, starts out with an if-then statement. If you're hungry, then eat something. And then so you go look at what you have. And if you have peanut butter, jelly, and bread, then you can unlock a peanut butter sandwich. And then there's a sequence, isn't there? You're going to grab the bread from the pantry. You're going to grab the peanut butter and jelly, put it on the counter, open the lids, use a knife to spread peanut butter on one side of the bread, use a knife to spread jelly on the other side, put them together. There's a logical sequence. You can't break the sequence. You can't put the jelly on the bread before you get the bread out of the pantry. You can't stick the knife in the jelly jar before you've cleaned the peanut butter off of it. There's all these little things you have to do in the series of if-then statements that creates a peanut butter sandwich. But at the end of the day, it is indeed just a series of if-then statements. If knife has peanut butter on it, do not stick it in the jelly until you've cleaned it. After you've cleaned it, if it's clean, you can stick it in the jelly. If there's jelly on the knife, spread it on the bread. If you're done spreading the jelly on the bread, clean the knife. It's just a series of if-then statements that we use for anything in life. Getting in your car and starting it is just a series of if-then statements. Mowing the lawn is just a series of if-then statements. Doing your taxes is just a series of if-then statements. So then shortcuts exists for assembling if-then statements for the purpose of net benefit of some kind. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what could possibly be an if-then statement in my life that would have a net benefit? What in my life could be an if-then statement that could possibly have a net benefit? Okay, well, let me answer that. If I could have the news and weather read aloud to me in the morning, that would be convenient. Now everybody has a different use case, but I happen to have a home pod. In fact, there's one sitting right over there, home pod. It's Apple's little speaker. And I do think it would be nice if I could just shout over to the home pod for it to give me a readout of maybe news and weather and that kind of stuff. So, in my opinion, there's a series of if-then statements for my own net benefit, meaning if I shout to my HomePod that I'd like to know what the update is for today, it will tell me. There's a net benefit. I like that. So could I do that? I'm no programmer, and if I don't see an app that currently exists that does just that. But yes, we can do that. If we go into Shortcuts app and we think in terms of if-then statements, we can absolutely create a workflow that tells the Shortcuts app, if I ask for it, give me the following information. So it's basically an if-then statement. What would be the if-then statement? It would be, if I say a certain keyword to you, AirPod, I want you to respond with the following. So that's an if-then statement. It works. Other if-then statements, there's lots of different things we can do in addition to just saying, I want an update on the weather and the news. There's all kinds of different things that we can do to formulate if-then statements. And before we jump in, I'm going to open the app here and jump in, and we'll look at the assembler and how to declare these if-then statements to the app itself. But I wanted to also call out a few things to get your mind working. At this point, your mind should be telling you, all right, Pete, we get it. If you write an if-then statement, the software will carry it out. Great. Well, you might be wondering, what if-then statements is my device capable of? It certainly can't make a peanut butter sandwich. So, Pete, what are you talking about? What are the net benefits I might get from this device? Okay, now we're talking. In the app, you can set these routines that net to benefit for you, but not without the help of your favorite apps. So what app developers have done, what Apple has allowed app developers to do, and by the way, that's every app on your phone, the developer has allowed the Shortcuts app to peer inside the sandbox of that app. Now you might be going, wait a minute, Pete, you just told me that Apple created secure sandboxes around apps so they can't do nefarious things to me. Yes, that is 100% true. The app can't get out, but you can get in. The sandbox doesn't keep you out. It keeps the app away from your stuff. So what do you mean by that? Well, every app developer has the freedom to write if-then statements to be put in the Shortcuts app. So let's just take Yelp, for instance. I use the Yelp app to do a lot of things. One of them is to find a restaurant to go to based on reviews and comments. Another one is to leave a review on Yelp. I like to leave reviews sometimes. Another one might be to take a picture and upload it to Yelp. These are all various different things I might do in the app. Well, what the app developers have done is said, well, let's make all of those desired actions within the app into usable if-then statements and shortcuts. So for instance, your camera has selfie mode, it has video mode, It has several different focal lengths. It has several different filters. All of those things are accessible in shortcuts as if-then statements. So knowing that now, that each app has its own set of utilities if the third-party developer wrote them in, we can now access those. So what I mean by that is, and now we'll dive in and really get some visual, but I really wanted to paint that picture. Number one, all we're doing is creating an if-then statement that has a net benefit to us. That's it. And the way we're doing that is we're utilizing the if-then statements that apps offer to build some benefit. I'll give you a real live example. I just made this one last night because my wife had it. But we like to listen to noise on the HomePod in the bedroom at night. It's like a white noise machine or whatever. There's lots of them out there, and we happen to find one on Apple Music that we like. It's basically a song on Apple Music that you play, but it's white noise, so it just makes static noise the whole night. Well, if you play this song, it stops after 9 minutes. So obviously we want to repeat the song. We want it looping all night long. And we want the volume on 50 because that's our preferred level. Well, every night when we get in bed and it's time to turn on the sound, I have to yell 3 different commands. I have to say, S word, Siri. I have to say, oh no, I triggered Siri. I have to say S word, put on this song. S word, repeat this song. I'm saying S word so mine doesn't get triggered. S word, make the music volume 50. I have to say those 3 things every night as we're getting ready to turn over and go to bed. Last night, my wife says, big shot Mr. Technology here for a year now. You've been yelling 3 commands at the dang thing every night, Mr. Big Shot. Why don't you use some of your big technology knowledge and fix it? And I was somewhat embarrassed, but also got a chuckle out of it and said, you know what, you're right. And what I did was I used an if-then statement in shortcuts for my net benefit. So now I just say, S word, let's sleep. You know what S word does for me? Siri, I don't want to say it because it triggered. But you know what it does for me? It puts on the song, it automatically repeats it, and puts it at music volume 50 with 1 command. Now my wife thinks I'm smart, and I get a net benefit. So we're going to build that and some other automations. But what I want you to do is shed all of your intimidation about if-then statements, about coding, about the Shortcuts app, about it's hard, about I don't get it. Shed all of that and be fearless in these next moments. Let's go in and create a shortcut, and all it is an if-then statement. That's it. We're not coding. There's nothing complex here. These are all math problems. There's not a single heart problem here. It's all math. So let's check it out. I'm going to join this call from my iPad so I can share that screen. So we're in iOS, and I'll get all those shortcut bits done from my iPad. Now, the reason I'm choosing my iPad is because Shortcuts is best used on a mobile device. Shortcuts on the desktop is fine. You can use it there, but your desktop limits you in what your if-then statements can be. Let me explain. If you're using a mobile device like a phone, your if-then statements can include your location. So you can say, if I arrive at church, then I want my phone to be on Do Not Disturb. When I leave church, or if statement, if I leave church, I want my phone to be released from Do Not Disturb. Those are 2 if-then statements that one might use for a net benefit of convenience. I did that. It was another real life example. We were sitting in church one day. I heard my son or my daughter's phone beep. I'm a little embarrassed. I cringed a little bit, but as soon as we got out of there and got to the restaurant for lunch, I said, all right, everybody, give me your phone. I set up a shortcut on each phone that says, when we pull into the parking lot of church, everybody's phones go on Do Not Disturb. When we leave the church, everybody's phones go off Do Not Disturb, which is beautiful because now, without any of us reaching into our pockets when we arrive, we can count on silence throughout and then leave, and it turns back on. So logging in from my iPad so we can experience some of these things together. And you even start writing your own if-then statements that benefit you. And the reason I say to your net benefit is because everybody will benefit from a different thing. You probably don't care about having noise in your room with your HomePod. That doesn't benefit you per se, but you be thinking about if-then statements and repetitive tasks that would benefit you. Okay, enough said. Let me log in now with my iPad. And let's build us a shortcut. Okay, where am I? Here I am. Log in. Okay, there I am. I want my mic off and I want to leave audio. All right, let me get this set up right so it's not echoing or anything. Just want to disconnect from audio. Audio settings.
Some great sound effects.
Yeah, you can probably hear my echoing. Oh, there it is. Disconnect audio. Okay, audio disconnected. Now I can share my screen from this device, right? Screen, start. There we go. Okay. iPad. Get my picture out of there. Oh, good. Okay. We're now on the iPad. Just a quick note while we're here, I have my iPad set up a little bit differently, and I kind of just want to explain that briefly because I do get asked somewhat often. The first thing I'll address is that picture of Kylo Ren there, that Star Wars picture. That is pulling from an album I created. Yes, the dark side. That's pulling from an album I created. I created an album in photos called Home Screen Photos. It's just what I named the album. And I went through my library, or every time I see a cool picture, I put it in my home screen photos. Well, I told this little window here to pull from that album. So every time I open my iPad, a new photo from that album is showing here. Now, Star Wars isn't the only thing I have there. There's pets and there's family and lots of different things, but it's just a little digital picture frame on my iPad that is rotating through photos all the time. It's a nice little thing to have. All that is a widget. You can place that widget, you can resize it, you can make it smaller or even larger, and you can assign it to show any album's photos. It doesn't have to show all photos. You can say, I put 60 photos in this album, and this is where I want you to draw from for my picture frame on my iPad. So that's the first thing you're seeing is that photo is a widget, and it's connected to the Photos app and displays photos from an album that I selected. Under that, you see a smart home dashboard where I can turn on the fan. In fact, there's a fan right above me here. And if I click on the bistro fan, there you see it will light up. And I've now turned on the fan over my head by using these smart home automations. So what I did was put a bank of smart home buttons, the most frequently used ones, right there on my home screen. So for instance, if somebody is knocking on the door, and my camera pops up, because there's a home screen doorbell camera here that I would be able to see who knocks on the door. Well, right from my home screen here, I have a dashboard where I can unlock the front door just by, clicking the unlock button for the front door. So that's right on my home screen. So if I see somebody come to the front door and I need to unlock it, I don't even have to get up from my iPad. I just hit the front door key there. And then the next one under that, you see the faces there. That's my family, and it shows me where they are. You can see right under their name is where they are. And so, of course, that requires how everybody has location turned on, because that's what we do in this family. We like to be able to see where everybody is and check in on them. And so I have that little dashboard. So at a glance, I can see exactly where my wife, my two daughters, or my son are. And then next to that is weather. It's just a weather widget. And then next to that, I just have apps. So most of you just have a grid of apps. And I get asked a lot, hey, what is this? How come you have images and stuff? And I just wanted to explain. Those are just widgets that I've placed. And this is how I like my iPad screen to be. My most frequently used apps there on the right, and then so on. Okay, so now into shortcuts. I'm going to launch my shortcuts app. You will also see a shortcuts app whether you're on phone or iPad. Check this out. The iPad now has the ability to shrink down into a phone size screen. So if any of you are on the iPhone and you have a question, I'll be able to shrink my iPad screen down to phone size. So I'm seeing the same thing as you, which I think is really convenient because iPad interfaces and phone interfaces sometimes differ somewhat. So if you are stuck and your interface looks different than mine, I'm happy to shrink it back down to phone size so we can see what the disconnect might have been. I'm back up to iPad size now here. And again, shrinking back down to phone size is real easy. So let me go back up to iPad size here. And just like on the phone, you're going to see some options in the sidebar. All right, I've got a sidebar here. Let me go to phone size so I can show you that that sidebar needs an arrow. You see this arrow up there towards the top? I got to use an arrow to access that sidebar. It's sort of a back arrow. If I have it expanded to iPad size, well, no back arrow is needed because I have so much screen real estate. So whether you're on the iPhone or the iPad, the back arrow might be needed to have that side panel pop up. But if you go to all shortcuts, which is where we'll go first, you're going to have mixed results. Mine will look a bit different than yours. You can see in my all shortcuts, I have 50. You can see a count of 50. Yours probably has the default unless you've played with it a little bit, but it won't be the same as mine. Do not worry about that. That is okay. If you see a bunch of shortcuts that were experimental or whatever, totally cool. Leave those there. They're not interfering with anything. We're just going to start new and we're going to create some stuff. Sweet.
Pete, excuse me. How did you get to this screen that's got the shortcuts and everything? How do we get that on our iPad?
Oh, you just got to launch the shortcuts app.
Oh.
I guess I should have mentioned that. I may have glazed right over it, but yeah, there is an app called Shortcuts. If for whatever reason you might have deleted it, and you might have seen it and said, "Oh, that's of no use to me," you can always re-download it from the App Store and reinstall it onto your device. It is an Apple app. It is not a third-party app. It's written by Apple, so it's deeply integrated into the operating system, but hopefully you already have it, but if you don't, go ahead and download it from the App Store. It'll be a minute or two before I start any follow along stuff. So if you don't have it and you do want to follow along, please go ahead and download it. I guess I can put the link
Thank
in
you.
the chat if you'd like. Let's see. I can share this app, right? Oh, I don't even give you the share app. That's strange. Shine app. Shortcuts. Well, interesting. Well, it's a shortcuts app in the App Store, and the icon looks like, this little S down at the bottom in my dock down here. Oops. Let me see. This little S here down there. So hopefully you have it, but I'm gonna continue on, and please launch the shortcut app if you have it. But if it isn't on your device, go ahead and download it.
Pete, quick question. On an iPad, how do you find the search function so I can find my shortcuts?
Sure, sure. Just like the iPhone, you can flick down on the screen anywhere to get the search kind of bar to pop up like I did here.
Ah, thank
Another
you.
another shortcut is Command Space Bar. If you have a keyboard with your iPad, which I do, I have Apple's sort of magic keyboard here. You can do Command Space Bar, and that'll bring up your search as well. Okay, in shortcuts now, I've got my sidebar open there. We can kind of see all of the stuff in the sidebar. Well, you know what? I'm going to get the screen out of here because there's too much noise. I want to explain one more concept before we get into the build. And that is the concept of shortcuts versus automations. There's two categories of what we're about to build here: shortcuts and automations. I want to explain the difference because it's pretty simple explanation, but it kind of looks confusing in the app. An automation is something that's triggered automatically. It's basically just a shortcut, but it's automated. My church do not disturb shortcut can be classified as an automation because it is not triggered manually. I don't open my phone and trigger the shortcut manually. It happens automatically based on location. That makes it an automation. But if I trigger it manually, then it's a shortcut. So just a distinction between the two. If it's the type of shortcut that's triggered automatically based on where you go, or there's lots of other criteria to base it on when it connects to your car's Bluetooth, when, there's lots of different things that you can base it on. So we're going to take a look at those things, but I did want to make sure you understood the distinction. When you see the word automation, it means a shortcut that's triggered by something automatically. And when you see the word shortcut, it means shortcut that's triggered manually. Those are the difference between those two terms in this exploration we're about to do. And I'll be very clear about when we're looking at an automation or a shortcut. But it's important to know that because even if you launch the Home app, right? I'm going to launch the Home app here. And I don't know about you, but I've got a lot of devices in my smart home that are connected in here into the Home app. Too many, I would argue. But on the left sidebar there at the very top, you see the word automation. And it's like, oh, what's automation doing there? We're not even in the Shortcuts app. Why is automation there? Well, automation is there for you to be able to create automatic shortcuts based on your HomeKit pieces. And so there's the end of that little aside, but I wanted to make sure that we're talking shortcuts. And if those shortcuts are triggered by something automatic, they become an automation. So just a difference. Now let's launch the Shortcuts app where we will find both shortcuts and automations are in this app right here. So that's what we're going to work on right now. And we're going to build one. We're going to build an automation here. So if you're following along, please make sure you have your Shortcuts app open on your preferred device. And what we're going to do is make a morning routine shortcut.
See,
Uh-huh.
I'm on my iPhone and I've got the shortcut app open, but I don't see the screen that you have. How do I get to that screen?
Now, do you see this screen here?
No, I see something that has a whole bunch of stuff. It says,
Like this.
it starts with use Siri to run a shortcut, then it says starter shortcuts, then it says Shazam shortcut, what's a shortcut, camera.
Yeah, like this. You see a lot of icons like this, don't you?
Yeah.
Yep, to get to where I am, you're just going to use the back arrow in the upper left. The back arrow in the upper left will take you to the sidebar.
Okay, and do I click on all shortcuts now that I've hit the back arrow?
That's where I'd like to have you, yes, in all shortcuts.
Now I'm back to the same thing with all those different kinds of shortcuts.
Perfect.
That's where I want to be?
Exactly.
Okay.
And if anybody else is still on the sidebar here, because if you're on a phone, you can only see one screen at a time. Watch when I expand to iPad, I can see multiple screens. So if you are on that left sidebar, go ahead and pick all shortcuts, and that will give you the screen. Like Barbara said, you probably have a bunch of stuff in here
So
because Apple loads you up with a bunch of them as a default, and then you might have experimented or something with them. But yeah, you'll probably have a lot of them.
So Pete, my sidebar isn't showing up. How do I get the sidebar to appear?
The back arrow in the upper left corner.
When I hit the back arrow, I just get a thing which says shortcuts at the top, and then it has a list of all shortcuts, share sheet, Apple Watch, folder.
That's your sidebar. Yep, that's your sidebar. It matches mine. Take a look at my sidebar. It's the same.
Oh, okay, it just looks completely different. Okay.
Yeah, it's because your phone can only see one panel at a time. My iPad can see 3 panels at a time.
Okay.
So we're just seeing more than your phone.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. And so in all shortcuts, here is where we have the power to create our shortcut. And what we're going to do is together, we're going to create a shortcut where we can tell our phone, give me my daily update, and it'll read us back the weather and the news. You know, it's a net benefit to us. We can set our phone down while we're brushing our teeth and say, give me a daily update, and then you'll hear the weather and the news. So let's build that shortcut together. And along the way, I'm going to point out a bunch of interesting stuff. So to create a new shortcut, we just simply use the plus button towards the top there. You'll see that little plus up there. And let me see, oh yeah, cursor here. So there's the plus button. If you're on a phone, and I'll just shrink it down. So we're on a phone, plus button is up there in the upper right. On the iPad, it is also sort of in the upper right there. I'm going to click the plus, and that gives us a new shortcut. Now, if you're on a phone, remember your screen is thinner. So if you're on a phone, this is what yours looks like, and that is correct. You're in the right place. And if you're on iPad, it's going to be a bit bigger.
Pete, sorry to keep interrupting, but on mine, on the upper right, I have what looks like a folder and a plus sign. And when I hit it, it's creating a new folder. I don't have just a plain plus sign.
So your screen at the very top, you see new. Oh, check the bottom and see if you're on library, automation, or gallery. You should be on library, I hope. See the bottom there, you got 3 icons to choose from.
No, but I got to a new screen that says new shortcut, so I think I'm where I need to be.
Perfect. Very good. Okay. But I think I might ask you to back out. All of us, I know I just said let's open a new shortcut. But before we get into it, I do want to be able to show you the place where you can browse what each app does. So in the upper left corner, you should have a back arrow. And what that's going to do is get out of that new shortcut. We're gonna abort the new shortcut. And so if you hit the back arrow in the upper left, you should be back to the screen right before we created the new shortcut. Because before we jump in, there is something I want to show you. So when you're exploring on your own later, you can scroll right down to this place and see at a glance what each app offers in terms of if-then statements. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to scroll down, and there's a lot of icons on mine. You probably have some that came with your that came with the Shortcuts app, but once you get past all of those rectangular colorful tiles, you start getting into each app's capabilities. So if you can see on my screen, you see right here, the tiles have ended and apps have begun. So you see the word books there and the word ChatGPT. All these tiles are over now, and we're starting to go into what each app can do. So that's what I would like you to do right now is if you're on the screen with all the tiles, where you see all the shortcuts that are already installed in your app, keep scrolling down towards the bottom until you see headers like books. Now, you might not see books because this is all based on what apps you have installed. So if you do have books installed, you'll see it. I do. That's why we see it. ChatGPT is another app. Somebody tune in and tell me, what apps are you seeing underneath your tiles? What apps are you seeing in there? You see I've got books, ChatGPT. What do you got?
Keynote.
Keynote, love it, love it. What else you got in your list?
Camera.
Camera, absolutely. Good,
Audible.
good.
Oh, what?
FaceTime.
FaceTime. Yep.
Block.
Okay, perfect. Then you're in the right place. And what that is
Alexa.
showing you,
Mhm.
excellent, you got Alexa. What that is showing you is for each one of those apps, the developers have written in capabilities for you to use those as shortcuts. Let me explain what I mean, because it's very simple once you see it in action. If you are following along, what I'd like you to do is eyes on screen, I'm going to do it, and then I want you to do it. You're going to do the same thing, but watch me first because this is a little bit different than a shortcut, but astonishing in its level of utility. So please have a look at your screen. I'm in the same place as you. I'm scrolling through and looking at what each app is capable of. And as I'm looking at ChatGPT, I see some interesting stuff. Now, if you had the ChatGPT app installed on your device, you would see the same menu as me. Now, you might not have it installed, which is fine. I'll have different apps than you. But for me, ChatGPT is an everyday app. It may not be for you. You might have other everyday apps that you see here. But for me, ChatGPT is an everyday app. Now I see what ChatGPT is offering me in terms of choices. Not all apps are the same. Some app developers build in a very limited amount of options for their app. As you can see, books above ChatGPT only has 2. ChatGPT built in 6. Now it's true that some apps just don't have that many relevant commands. Like in the Books app, read current and play current seems fine to me. But with ChatGPT, I really love that it gives me the option to utilize something like start voice conversation. Now, I don't know about you, but I often want to talk to ChatGPT, especially in times when maybe I have my phone on the countertop and I want to start a new conversation with ChatGPT. Well, what I have to do is pick up my phone, unlock it, find the ChatGPT app, and then try to remember which button it is that starts a new voice conversation. Those are all the steps I have to take if I want to start talking to ChatGPT. And sometimes that's a lot because water is boiling and I want to know, do I add the spaghetti now or later? You know, I want to have a conversation with ChatGPT. Check this out. In the Shortcuts app, while you're browsing each app's different capability, you have the power to do a very simple shortcut. Watch this. Now, again, I'm somebody who likes to start conversations with Grok or ChatGPT AI, basically. I want to start a conversation right away. I don't want to open the app, log in if I have to, find where the voice thing is. Check this out. If I hold my finger down on the start voice conversation, hold my finger down on start voice conversation. And if you're looking at your list of apps and you see one that looks interesting or useful to you, hold your finger down on that app and then select the add to home screen option. What this option is going to do is allow you to change some of the things about this option. So for instance, the icon, if you can see on my screen here, I might change that icon from headphones to this little dialogue icon. So it looks like some talking there. And I might want the icon to be this sort of green. I kind of like that green color. So I've changed the icon from the symbol it was and the color it was to something I liked better. And then I'm going to click add. Now you see, again, watch me and we'll walk through it together. But after I hit add, look on my home screen. There it is. It's the app I just created. Or did I? I didn't really create an app. I was just in Shortcuts. But that new icon on my home screen, guess what it'll do if I tap it? It'll immediately start a new AI voice chat without me having to launch ChatGPT, without me having to log in, without me having to find the button that says start voice chat. I can do it right here from my home screen. Let me show you. I'm going to tap it and look what happens. It immediately opens to ChatGPT voice chat. Hey, chat, I'm doing a class on shortcuts. And I was just showing them how you can add a shortcut icon to your home screen and have it go inside of an app and pull out a certain feature immediately with only one click. So what we did is we created a start new voice chat with ChatGPT icon right on the home screen. What do you think?
I think that sounds super cool. Honestly, that's a fantastic example to show off because it's really practical. People love when they can just tap one icon and jump right into a handy feature. And having it start a voice chat with me is a fun touch. I'm sure your class will appreciate how convenient and kind of futuristic that feels.
All right, thanks. Talk to you later. So there it is. It's on my home screen now. It's an app. It looks like an app. It's not. It's just a shortcut. You see it right here. Oops. You see it right here. We just created that. And when I tap it, instead of launching ChatGPT, the app itself, it launches me right into the feature that I want. Now let's you do it. And I'm going to show you how to not only create it, but to delete it. So be fearless about creating yourself a new little app icon, because we're going to delete it too, and it'll be gone. But I want you to see the magic of how it works. So what let's do is scroll through this list of applications, if you are following along, and find one that is interesting to you. And I'll give you a couple of primers to help you. Like, for instance, FaceTime. If you're a FaceTime user and you have a frequently used person that you FaceTime, you can add a FaceTime tile right to your home screen that just has their face on it. So instead of launching FaceTime and trying to call them through FaceTime, you just tap this one button and there it is. So if that appeals to you, use that. Let's see, what are some other ones? Ooh, magnifier. Everyone has that one. You see it in my list here, magnifier. Everybody should have that because the magnifier app is built in. You guys, this is an amazing, the magnifier app is amazing. I want you to watch this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a shortcut from the magnifier app to my home screen. And I'm going to add a describe this shortcut to my home screen. You guys can see it there, the describe this. It's right here, and it's one of the magnifier features. If I hold that down, you guys will love this. Check it out. If I hold that down and say add to home screen, and I can make it any icon I want. And so I want something with eyes, like a set of eyes or looking or something like that. Let me see, what can I find here? Weather, nature, I don't know. I'm just gonna, oh, there we go. Here's the ear. There's got to be some eyes somewhere. I'm just gonna try this one. I don't care. Okay, so I'm gonna add that to my home screen. Now check this out. Do you see that new icon I just created? There it is. I couldn't think of anything better about a little person there. But watch this. I'm gonna grab my iPad. You see I got my iPad? Okay. Check it out. I'm gonna launch that little shortcut I just made.
A room with blue walls and a white cabinet. A white cabinet with various objects in it. A group of arcade games in a room with pink and green walls. A group of tables and chairs in a room with purple lighting. A television screen on a wall in a dark room. A cell phone on a table with other objects on it. A cell phone on a table.
Ah, that was cool. So with one touch, I can open up Magnifier, which is programmed to see and announce what it sees. Freaking amazing. If I wanted to put this up as a sentry guard to the door and have it announced to me when somebody walks by the door or the window, or I don't know, lots of fun things to be had there. But the point was that right from the Shortcuts app, when we saw a utility we thought might be useful, we were able to add it directly to our home screen. I really like that because you know, if you want to do something in an app, sometimes you have to open the app, find the thing you want to do, and that's just a 30 or 60-second delay that you can get around for frequently used tasks by simply making a home screen shortcut like this. Kind of looking through to see what more utility might be. So the reason I wanted to take you through that is because after this class, later on, I want you to feel the freedom to scroll through there and identify anything you think might be a benefit to you as a shortcut and put it on your screen. Let's see, we started this at 12:02. I gotta have somebody take my bread out of the proofer. And I'm not kidding. So here's what let's do is I'm going to create a shortcut so I can make an announcement to the house because they're upstairs right now. And I want them to take the bread out of the proofer. So what I'm going to do is create a shortcut that will activate the intercom feature. Now you don't have to follow this one, but I'm going to just build it. So intercom, ask each time to Creekside Park, and done. So I just created, I'm going to say, take my red dough out of the proofer, please, and leave it on the counter. Like that. And if I hit done, well, now listen, because every HomePod in the house will now announce that.
Take my bread dough out of the proofer, please, and leave it on the counter.
It's there. So everybody got that message because we have HomePods on every level. And now they, I hear
That's-
my son actually upstairs going to take it out.
Too cool.
Oh, and here's, look at this. My wife has shown up with a coffee. Hey, that's not part of the shortcuts app. You can't yeah, come say hi. I got a coffee. There's Alexia, everybody. That's everybody. We're learning how to bother other people in the house by using the intercom.
Perfect. He's probably trying to figure out what the proof.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you for the coffee.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Oh, and did you see this?
Okay. So what I did was built that intercom shortcut, and now I can just add it to my home screen. And that way, anytime I want to make an announcement in the house, I just hit that intercom shortcut, type in what I want, and then everybody hears the announcement. So as you can see, just from sitting here for this past few minutes, there's several different things that I would benefit from having shortcuts. The bedroom noise, remember I told you, I'm going to open that one right now so you can see. I wasn't lying. I made that last night. And it was a pretty easy shortcut, but I basically set master bedroom dresser in Creekside Park. Creekside Park is the name of my home. And in the master bedroom dresser, I was able to tell the audio to play, to repeat what volume I wanted, and with one touch of a button, I can turn on that noise. So let's make our own shortcut. Let's build one right now.
Hey, Pete,
And yeah,
can I ask you a quick professional question? Is that a green screen behind you?
no, that is a Nanoleaf LED lights.
Oh, okay.
But I do have a green screen studio in the other room with a roll down green screen.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you want to show us how to delete it at this point, or is that later?
Or if you made one and you're wondering how to delete it, yeah, let me show you that now, and then we'll go in and make another one. So let's see. Yeah, if you made one, and you can see the two icons on my screen that are homemade, ones that I did are this one up here. You guys saw me do that one earlier. And this one here. That was the one where we detect things, right? So if I click that and point my phone or iPad at things, it'll start announcing what it is. So to get rid of those, I'm just going to hold my finger down on it, and you'll see I'll get this message that pops up, and I can simply delete the bookmark. Deleting the bookmark will not affect anything. It's just a little thing you put there from the Shortcuts app, and it can be deleted without you risking losing any data or anything like that. And it can be easily recreated too. So feel free to create these when you feel like it and easily delete them when you feel like it. And so I'm just going to go delete bookmark here, and it'll say, are you sure? And I'll just say yes. And so that little shortcut I just created is gone now. If I wanted to do it again, I'd have to, go back to the Shortcuts app, go find the feature I want, and then put it on there. Some of you have told me that the magnifier is inconvenient, like clicking the side button 3 times to invoke the magnifier is sometimes inconvenient. But you could go in here and take the magnifier shortcut and just make it on your home screen. So instead of having to click the button 3 times, you would just open your phone and click on magnifier, and it would open up. So there's definitely utility there. But let's do the thing where in the morning you're going to click the shortcut, or even tell Siri that that's what you want to happen, and that series of automations is going to happen. So Now you're really following along. If you're following along, you don't have to, but if you are, let's make a shortcut that is going to activate and give you the news and weather. Okay, a plus gives us our canvas. This is basically our canvas. On the left, a big gray space that's going to populate with our if-then statements. And on the right, a menu of actions. Now, if you're on a phone, your phone is going to look like this. The menu of actions gets squeezed to the bottom. Why? Just not enough screen real estate. So same info, but you can see where mine is on the side, yours is going to be on the bottom. The luxury of the iPad is I get to see the building code and the shopping place at the same time. On the phone, you don't. You have to bounce back and forth. You have to say, okay, let me build, and then it bounces back in here kind of up and down. But we're just going to go side to side like this. Now, the first thing we want to do is we're gonna tell it to tell us good morning. So that's the first thing I would like to happen when I invoke this shortcut in the morning. Maybe I'm making my coffee. I'm gonna holler at my phone or holler at my HomePod. I'm gonna trigger this automation, or no, it's a shortcut. It would be an automation if it was automatic. But since we're triggering it with voice, the first thing I wanted to say is good morning and my name. So the first thing I want to search for in the upper right, and I highly recommend using the search when you're searching for various if-then statements to put in here. And by the way, if you're on a phone, search is going to be there, but at the bottom instead of on the right. So just a nuance there. And we're going to search for text, T-E-X-T. We're just going to search for text there. And you can see lots of different options come up. We're going to choose the simplest one up here at the top. But before I do, what you see before you is astonishing because all of the things you see can be utilities that all of these things can be utilities that you can string together. So for instance, you have proofread text, which is part of Apple's AI offering. You could create a shortcut where you could tell it to proofread a document, rewrite it, summarize it, and then output it as a PDF. I mean, there is almost no limit to the amount of automations you can create using a shortcut app. So the first step we want, I search for text. I see text there. I'm going to click it. And in the text, we're going to say, good morning, Pete. And I'm going to say exclamation point. You know what? I'm going to say Pete, Shirley, and Apollo, because that's my crew. I have 2 dogs with me in the morning, and we come down to the living room and we feed them and stuff. So I would like good morning to be said to all of us. Boom, there it is. Text, good morning, Shirley, Pete, and Apollo. Now I'm going to go back to the search bar over here and I'm going to put in text again. And then I see where it says speak text. I'm going to click on speak text. Now what we're doing here is we're formulating an if-then statement, and the if-then statement goes in order. So the first thing we did was stated the text that we wanted to be said, which was good morning, Pete, Shirley, and Apollo. Then we told it, I want you to speak that text. So the next command was speak text. You'll see that in the next command where you see the red, right over here where you see the red, it says speak, but then the text turns blue. You see how the text has turned blue? Whenever you see text that turns blue inside your shortcut, that means it is a variable field. That means that you can change that if you want. Now I'm not gonna. You know why? Because when I did the speak text, it automatically pulled in my text, as you can see, right? It says speak text. And then if you look right above it, there's the text. So far, I think I've got this right, but let's test it. You can test anytime. Let's test it. I'm going to use this play button right here to test it. Let's test my shortcut and see if it does indeed speak this text.
Good morning, Pete, Shirley, and Apollo.
Boom. we've created our first shortcut and it's working. We entered in some text, we told it to speak it, and I just heard it. So far, we are programmers and we're programming, whether you like it or not. Okay, love it. We're going to get told good morning. And now let's get the current weather, right? Let's get the weather because we wanted to say that next. So what we're going to do is, let's see, I'm going to go back to my search because that's where I find all of the commands that we're going to drag over. And I'm going to say get weather. I just search for get weather. Get current weather. There it is. So I'm going to click on get current weather. And that, look, it just populated in our stack. It just added itself there. We're logically, non-threateningly, this is not intimidating. We're logically just building out what we want. We told it what text we want, told it to speak the text. Now we want it to get the current weather. Well, it's saying we need your location for that. So I'm going to click allow access and say, yes, shortcuts, you may have access to my location. And I'm just going to say allow while using app instead of allow once. Okay, get weather at current location. Good. So that is definitely what we need for it to get the weather at current location. So now we need to get the details of the weather conditions because that's what we want to hear, right? So I'm going to put get again because we can tell the Shortcuts app to reach into other apps and get stuff. So by putting the word get, we're telling it we'd like to reach into the weather app and pull something out of there. So get is first, and then I'm going to put details of weather. So as I'm typing in that search box, get details of weather, there it is, get details of weather conditions. I see it right there. So first we get the weather at our current location, because of course, that's step one, and then get details of weather conditions. Notice that in the last line we've added now, there's two blue fields. We have to tell what we want. So where it says get detail from weather conditions, we're going to tap on detail. We're going to tell it which detail we would like. So here you can do temperature, which is the most likely one we want to do, right? Unless you want to do condition or humidity, you get to choose. And you don't have to do just one if you don't want. You can stack these. You could do 5 different ones if you wanted to, if 5 were important to you. But what I'm going to do is temperature. So get temperature from weather conditions. So what is this if then statement so far? It is, hey, we want you to speak some text and here it is. Now speak it. That's step 2. Then we want you to get the weather at our current location. From that, we'd like to know the temperature. And so then we're going to have to speak that, right? So we're going to want to speak text, right? So I'm going to search again, speak text. There it is. And you can see we can change what it's going to speak. So speak temperature. Okay, so now let's try this because we haven't done a whole bunch, but it may look or feel like a lot. Step 1 was determine what text we want. You know what? I'm nervous that my bread needs to be folded. I'm making sourdough and I thought, let's see, okay, 90 minutes. I did that. lightly flour cutting board, flip dough out. Okay, I can do that when I get it. Okay, perfect. So it looks like we've done a lot, but first thing we did was say, we want you to speak some text. So here's the text, now speak it. Then we want you to get the weather at the current location. We'd like the temperature from that info, and we want you to speak that. So if I hit play now, I should get those two results.
Good morning, Shirley and Apollo. 66 degrees Fahrenheit. 59 degrees Fahrenheit.
Nice. Some of you are trying it and you're getting the results. So good stuff. Good stuff. Let me try something. Speak wasn't exactly the result I wanted. Is it speak text? And maybe I don't want that. Hold on one sec. I'm curious. Okay. Well, speak temperature. It's an exact. Oh, wait. One thing. I just want to try one thing. Sorry. Text.
It's reassuring when you have to double check stuff too, Pete.
Yes, yes. There's so many different ways to do this stuff. It is tough sometimes, but hey, it's a little trial and error like anything in life. Okay, so we got the desired result. We got what we wanted, which was the text is being spoken. So when we got speak text, we see temperature there. If I hit play, it works.
Good morning, Pete, Shirley and Apollo. 59 degrees Fahrenheit.
That isn't exactly what I wanted, for her to just say 59 degrees Fahrenheit. So what I probably could do is put some text in there, and this is something, you could do on your own, but just like we did above, we could put text in a box here. And when you start typing more text, right, we can say the temperature on this beautiful, and we'll just be all upbeat about it, beautiful morning is. Now we want to recall the temperature we gathered earlier, right? We want that to be the next thing in this sentence is that. Well, if we run our eyes down to the bottom of the screen, the Shortcuts app was smart enough to gather up all the things it thinks we might need. So at the bottom of my screen, you see the word temperature. So if I tap that, it's going to go right in line with the text. And then if you look, after the word beautiful morning, let's see the temperature on this beautiful morning. And I'm gonna show you another way to use those variables at the bottom on this beautiful morning of, and I'm gonna put the date down there. You see down at the very bottom, I've also got current date down there. I'm gonna put current date in there. So then I can now hit play.
Good morning, Pete, Shirley and Apollo. Good morning, Bev. 66 degrees Fahrenheit.
Hey, you're nailing it. I love hearing it. Okay, so then we will say speak text. So here we go. I'm going to play it.
Good morning, Pete, Shirley and Apollo. The temperature on this beautiful morning of November 1st, 2025 at 2:05 p.m. 59 degrees Fahrenheit.
I could put the word is here. You see in my sentence structure, I can just stick in the word is, and then that will sound more grammatically correct. So you can see, and please, folks, at this point, you may have been lost or, but I encourage you to take a screen capture of this if you'd like, because you could always rebuild this later. In fact, I'm going to take a screen capture of it and put it in the chat for you, because I highly recommend you just rebuild this. When you have some leisure time, sit down, and if you got lost or out of sync here, you could just go back through and take a look at the screen capture. And I think it's going to refresh, refresh you. Can I chat? Let me see. I'm gonna paste this into the chat, but I can't chat for some reason. Oh, wait.
I put the picture in already for you, Pete.
Because,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna say Al
Thank you.
did it.
He's on it. But
Oh, looks like he's frozen.
Pete froze.
Yes. Give him a few moments. Obviously, he will notice it, or maybe not. Do you have his number and text him maybe? Who does? I think you do. Oh, it looks. No, he hasn't.
Yeah, I'll text him real quick.
Yeah. I don't have his. I better get that from now on. I'm getting better all the time.
Thomas, I'll forward you the contact. I think I
Per-
have yours.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Are we recording?
Oh yeah,
Thomas?
we're recording.
Okay, very
Yeah,
good.
I did that right
We're
out
over.
front. Yeah, I don't know.
Are we sure we're
Hey,
recording? My message said this is being live streamed.
yeah, his live stream is recorded. It goes directly to
Okay.
YouTube, live streams, but YouTube makes it, it puts it in an archive
Got
or
it.
repository. Absolutely.
That's
man.
all. Yeah.
Oh, surely. Oh yeah, he went down, so he's probably rebooting.
yeah,
Well, this is a bit, there he is. He's popped back up.
well, I'm on cellular at the moment because something is wrong.
Oh.
I'm having an internet outage.
Oh wow.
Cellular's working, but my Wi-Fi is not. So I'm gonna go reboot my router. That typically takes 5 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna come right back. Let's call that a little break. Everybody maybe stretch
Sure.
a bit, and I'm gonna go reset that, and I will be right back. I apologize, but let me get this fixed. I'll be right
It's
back.
live. Well, does anyone, this is a little break. If you have anything you need to say, questions, I am informational to the lesser extent, but there's lots of great brains here. Like that.
Okay, I posted the if anyone's interested, our MacNexus demo live stream there on if you wanted to confirm that it's going to YouTube, just click that link there and it'll
you're
show up.
talking to them. Okay. Go on.
No, just a point of interest. If there was a question about whether it's
live streaming.
Yeah, being live streamed. Yeah, it's being live streamed. You can go see it if you go to that link.
Yeah. No, I just to check. I was nervous. I just checked on the little thing. It's like it's live streaming. So
I gotta adjust it.
Well, this is how's it going for everyone? What is everyone feeling about this? Everyone, all of us.
Good class.
Yeah, as usual.
My brain is exploding as usual.
Yes.
Too much to think about.
I have a question. I'd like to know why this shortcut app, when he asked for temperature, it gave the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit, not degrees Celsius. And he didn't specify what unit to use.
He might have set it, I'm sure that could be set in the weather app itself.
Yeah.
And then it would feed you back whatever, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's typically one of the settings right out of the gate if you ever have to boot it,
I have a question. I wanted to get the precipitation, rain prediction, and I could only choose either temperature or precipitation. It looks like you might need to do two totally full different lines to get two kinds of.
He said you could stack them, so that sounds like a logical.
Sounds like a doable deal.
It's if then, and then it's a new if then.
Another if then.
It's all if then. Look at me looking intelligent. I better shut up now.
I had a problem getting the search to answer the way his did. I didn't have that much success.
Were you using the same wording, shall I say?
Yeah, no, up in the search, I put search and it came back. I'm hearing myself through my hearing aids, just driving me crazy. It says text last image, which is the only thing I got that has said text in it.
Were we in the
I'm
gallery?
on an iMac, relatively new, and it just says, in the find file, it says just text last image, not just plain text, which he had.
What are you thinking, Al? I'm just looking at it.
I'm sorry, I'm on something else here.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine.
Morning of November 1st.
Yeah. I am a little I would think that gallery, I mean search.
I was in the all shortcuts.
Okay. All shortcuts.
And then it had starter shortcuts, and I only had a few.
Oh, text last image. Yeah. You now when you may need to be in gallery, I think, possibly, because if I put text there, I get several options of shortcuts. And I'm on my iPad, on my MacBook Pro.
I could have the gallery or the list, and they both come up with just the one thing.
The gallery does too? Are you on your phone then?
No, I'm on an iMac.
Oh, because when I go to gallery, I get text last image, turn text into audio, animate text on a GIF, translate selected text. And then there's a couple more. Oh, text run late, change text size, translate text. It's what I get when I'm on gallery.
He was saying though that it's kind of there's more choices, it seems like, if you're on an iOS device as opposed to an OS device.
Okay.
So that might be part of your situation, Madeline.
Yeah. And
it's really
you should have just about everything.
Well, no, he did say, didn't he, Mary, that this was built more for the iOS?
Because it has location features, because the iOS has location, so then you know where.
Okay, well, I usually am on my iPad, and I should try that.
Yeah.
And it also may be dependent on how many applications you have, because because like if you don't have the Audible as example, if you don't have the Audible application, it's not going to show up on the list as a potential for shortcuts.
Yeah. I'm trying to add a new line in between lines. Does anybody know how to do that? Because I deleted something in there.
Oh, well, that'll be a good question for Pete.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I don't want to have to delete everything back to that line that I want to add.
Have you just tried going up to it and then hitting a return? Because be like you do on text. I don't know if that works. That's just kind of a guess.
It doesn't seem, I don't seem to be able to add an action very easily.
Well, that was like he said, you can't hurt anything by trying some of those things.
Yeah.
Oh, and Randy's got a question.
Yeah, I was just going to say Randy. Randy?
Great. Thank you very much. Yeah, I had a couple of questions in the chat. One was like the Apple Watch. Is it easy to transfer? I have a 6 currently. I'm thinking of going to the 11. And then I also had another in chat on spatial. What in the camera is spatial? I have no idea. I took a couple pictures in Carlsbad last week on vacation, and they come out, I think it's for the audio visual thing that you wear over your eyes thing, but I don't know what spatial
Vision
is.
Pro.
And so, it'd be nice to update all of us here with what's on the new iPhone 17 and how to use the stuff. The last thing is, I'm up to date 26 on both the studio computer and the iPhone, but asking for a friend as history. I know, I really am
That
asking.
friend needs
Actually,
a lot of help,
it's
Randy.
actually for my mother-in-law. Okay, she's 90, so come on, she's still doing Apple Pay. Can you to pay through B of A? And Pete's back. Pete, my mother-in-law is on 18 for iPhone and
there he is, yeah.
15 on her iMac. She wants to know, she's 90, so but she's very proficient on both Apple devices. Is it okay to go to 26?
We can't hear you,
Muted,
Pete.
Pete.
You're muted.
Heck yes. I highly recommend it. Get on the 26 quick.
Great, got it. Thanks.
Run, don't walk.
Kathy, did you have a question?
I had something to say about, and we can ask Pete, the smartwatch 6 versus 11. Because the 6 has oxygen data on it, and I don't know if the 11 does.
It looks like, I think my internet's still down. I'm on cellular. This is really strange.
Oh, okay.
My internet's down. I checked for outages. There's no outages in my area. So why it would be down just here, I have no idea, but cellular is working fine. So yeah, sorry about not having the other screen up, but I can definitely finish up this way.
Why don't you do like everybody else and blame it on the Democrats?
Oh gosh, geez, enough, Mr. White.
You don't have to twist my arm.
Let's not.
This is not the right forum for that.
Enough said.
I think you could say politicians and be okay.
Yeah.
And Kathy, didn't you have a question also about adding? You deleted a line in the shortcuts. So I don't know which one we're gonna go ahead and trot along first on.
Maybe that since we're in the middle, since Pete's back, maybe the shortcut.
Oh, Pete, on the shortcuts, one thing from a previous class that I love that you gave us and patiently showed us all how to do, I really enjoy, is on the Photos app. On the shortcuts, it's like a two-step thing. When I hit Photos app, I wanted more brightness. So you taught me how to do that. And then close Photos, it goes back to the normal setting. That was great. Thanks.
That's huge. Yes. Yeah, that was a good one. I still have it on mine and I can't live without it because it's just you don't want that 30% brightness when you're looking at your photos. You really want them to pop. So that was another good one. Yeah. And what Randy just brought up was again, stacking if-then statements for net benefit. It's sort of like, hey, let's make it so every time we launch the Photos app, that our screen goes to full brightness. And then when we navigate away from the Photos app, it goes back to previous brightness. So that's just another great example.
But Kathy had a question about in your text, in your assembling the if-then sequence, she wanted to go back and insert something, a line. Can she do that?
Oh, heck yes. Once you start doing this stuff with the Shortcuts app, it's really fascinating to see what some people are doing. Some people now here, I think I'm sharing. Hopefully, you can see my shortcut.
Yes, we can see it.
Yep. Some people have it's 7 meters long. Their shortcut because they've done so much programming. They've worked on it for a year. They've gone back and said, you know what, I'm going to insert something over here. So let me show you. You can either just grab and drag. I can reorder things very easily this way by just grabbing it and dragging it. Yep. And then also, you can insert things and just go back later. You can also save a copy. Like if you're curious like me, I'm very curious. I want to break everything. I want to bust, I want to break it. I want to break it and then I'll fix it and then I'll know how to fix it when it's broken. So I want to try things. So what I'll do is I'll have a nice reliable shortcut like this one here. But then I'll copy it, I'll duplicate it into a whole nother shortcut, and then I'll destroy the other one because I want to know how far can I take it? How far can I push it? And then I don't care if it's destroyed because I can just delete it, but it was really experimental for me. So let me go back to this screen here because I want you to see that once you create a shortcut like we did, it'll appear as a tile on your all shortcut screen, basically. Now, here, this is super important. A super important part.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Did you have a question or?
No.
Oh, you just saw me. Okay. The super important part here is that this shortcut, after you've created it, now goes to the cloud, and shortcuts are made Siri aware immediately. Shortcuts are made Siri aware immediately. So the reason I want to emphasize that is we just did this shortcut here, which is speak text, right? And I really hope that people who are normally intimidated by computer language or complex, coding and stuff, I really hope at least some of you look at this and go, while figuring out where to get each of those things might be a bit of a hurdle, but I do have the search box there, assembling them seems very logical. It's like get something, speak it, get something else, choose which one of those things you want, speak that. So hopefully everybody's real comfortable with kind of getting here, or at least you feel bold enough to tinker. Now, there's a couple of other things that we can access about the shortcut. So I'm back in my shortcut, and I just want to call your attention to the upper right of my screen. Or if you are on a phone, the place that I would call your attention to if you're on a phone is this little information button at the bottom. If you're on a phone. If you tap the information button, you will get this, which allows you to add it to the home screen if you want. So this entire shortcut you would invoke from the home screen. So that's what I'm going to do right now, and then I'll show you how to remove it. But I'm going to add to home screen. Again, we can get whatever icon and color we want. So I'm going to look for something like the sun, maybe a little sunny, positive type thing. Objects, oh, weather. Here we go. I'm going to make a nice sunny symbol. Go back up and see that there. Oh, nice sunny symbol. I'm going to make it yellow. And then I'm going to hit add. Okay, well, there it is on my home screen. We now see this little yellow sun here. And when I click it, it hopefully does what we've programmed it to do. Love it. Okay, now I'm going to take it off the home screen. I've decided I don't want it there anymore. So I'm going to hold down until I see delete bookmark, and I can easily delete it. Are you sure? Yes. And then I'm going to go back to shortcuts here. Stop. Okay, shortcuts. Okay, go back to shortcuts. I'm going to widen that out again. Now, there's another thing that I want to call out here, and that is that in addition to adding it to your phone screen, if you want, your home screen, we can also change the name of the shortcut. Now, this is extremely important to change the name of the shortcut because you're likely to want to invoke this shortcut by voice. And since shortcuts are made Siri aware, we can use Siri to trigger our shortcut. So I'm going to go back into my shortcut here, and in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see the speak text name of that's the name of the shortcut, is speak text. If I tap that, it's going to allow me to rename this text. The reason I want this to be renamed is I want Siri to be able to pick up on it when I say it. And so it shouldn't sound like anything else. So I'm just going to say something silly. What's the deets?
Oh, yeah.
What's the deets? What's the deets? But you could put whatever you want. You could put good morning. You could put tell me about the day, whatever. So now if I quit, I'm no longer in shortcuts. I'm just simply on my home screen here. I'm going to attempt to invoke that shortcut by saying, Siri, what's the deets? It's Saturday, November 1st, 2024. He's saying it. My HomePod was saying it. So I would have to say it directly to my iPad. Let me see if I can do it without triggering my Siri. What's the deets? It's Saturday. Oh, it's still getting picked up on my HomePod. But changing the name of the shortcut also changes what Siri is listening for.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you change your shortcut name to what's the deets, and I say that in the morning to my HomePod or my phone or my iPad, it's going to run the shortcut. Now you might be thinking, well, Pete, I created the shortcut on my phone. How can my iPad or my HomePod run it?
Oh, it's because of iCloud.
All of the shortcuts get stored in the cloud and they become Siri aware. So all of your devices can invoke your shortcuts just based on the name of it. So what's the deets for me now? Will always invoke the good morning, Pete, Apollo, and Shirley. It'll give me the date. It'll give me the temperature. It'll always be that now. When I say what's the deets to Siri. You can see bedroom noise is my other one. This is the one where I was telling you an embarrassing couple of years of not doing that, but now I can go in and tell it. So for those of you who have a HomePod, that's Apple's little softball sized. Let's see, where's Zoom? I'm back in here. Oh, here's Zoom. And then my video. Oh, I didn't know that. Let's see. Am I zooming? Is my video weird? Oh, I'm sharing my screen. That's why. Okay. Like, hopefully you're familiar with HomePod. Let me flip this.
About the size of a grapefruit.
Yeah, here's.
Oh, that one.
Right on top of my Affinity books. Those are all books on Affinity software. But yeah, that's just it's a HomePod. I think you get the small. Bob was saying there's one the size of a softball, but yeah, this acts as a iOS device. So anything you can say to Siri, you can say to this, and it'll control your lights and all that other fun stuff. Oh, and let's get this back over here. Let me flip that camera around. Oh, this is where I sit. That's the other side of my desk is a movie theater over there. Right here's my desk where I sit right here, and then yeah, the other side is the movie theater, and the arcade is back here. Arcade and stuff like that. There's a view into the nerdery. Okay, so
yeah,
this is a stream deck here. Al, you probably have one of these, but
yeah.
This will allow you to program all of these buttons to invoke whatever you want. So I can click here to launch an application, click here to start my camera, volume, do all those things. And then there's lots of different screens available. You can scroll different screens, but yeah, just a handy hardware kit. This here is a type of mouse where you can control 3D objects. You pick up this item as if it were a 3D object, and you can control it in real time in space. Lots of fun gadgets on this desk. Let me see if I can show that. Might be interesting. I'm going to open this up here and see if that will. Okay, yeah, you can see as I use my hand to manipulate the object, it will act as a 3D. So I move my hand. Just turn it in real space. Fun stuff. Which I do have a bit of an announcement, but I want to check in with Thomas and Bob and the leadership. Can I announce Can I talk about my own business endeavor or?
One moment. Anne has a question. And
go ahead, Anne.
I was looking at the weather shortcut that we created, and you said that you could ask for more than one reading.
Yes.
And so I clicked on the weather conditions because it seemed like that would be an additional one. And I picked humidity, or I picked a sunrise. And what it said to me is that the temperature is 68 degrees Fahrenheit and sunrise will be at 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It just repeated what it got from the temperature. It didn't pick up anything in that second blue box. So I wonder what the function is of the weather conditions in that statement.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I will show you. Let's see. Let me share my screen again. Share screen. Start. Oh, I wonder if my internet's back up. I'm just curious. Take a look. No, still not back up. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen now. Yes.
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 Yep.
We can.
Okay. Yeah, good stuff. You're experiencing the, branching and skip logic of if then statements. So yeah, I like that. I'm back in my what's the deets? This is the shortcut we created together. And I want to address that matter that you just talked about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my spoken text here. You can see where I'm sort of building out the dialogue here on this spoken text. I have the temperature on this beautiful morning of, which doesn't make a lot of sense here. I get that. It would make more sense to say here, I'm going to drop that down a couple of lines and get it out of my way and say it's the morning of, and then I'm going to move my current date up there instead. Just by kind of assembling this sentence. Okay, it's the morning of current date. And then I was rushing before, but I'm going to say, and the temperature is temperature. Now I'm going to say, the likelihood of rain is, now we're adding something new to this sentence that we're stringing together. It's the morning of current date, and the temperature is temperature. The likelihood of rain is, What we'll do here is we'll add from the bottom of the screen. You can see it's pulled what it believes will be frequently used items for us as we're formulating the sentence. So the variables at the bottom are what I need. I'm going to tap on weather conditions right here. And when I do that, it's going to get me the container of weather conditions. So there it is. I get to pick from all of these various weather conditions. So what I'm going to do is scroll and look for precipitation chance. So if I do precipitation chance and check that box, now I can say it's the morning of current date, the temperature is temperature, and the likelihood of rain is precipitation chance. Now let's play that and see if what we expected worked.
Not hearing it. Oh.
Oh, were you not? I'm sorry if that wasn't coming across loud and clear. I wonder if I am sharing device audio, so I'm not sure exactly why it wouldn't be loud and clear, but suffice it to say, it said everything I wanted. And then I might even say, and there, I'm just going to put and then I'm going to tap weather conditions again, because then I'm going to say, let's see, feels like. I like that. So then I'm going to say, it feels like
Oh, yeah.
So
the
make
humidity.
sure you dress accordingly. Okay. So now let's play that again with a little bit more addition to building out this sentence. So I'm going to play it again. So it just went through that. You can see the output at the bottom. You might not have been able to hear it, but you'll notice that the output that it did appears as a receipt at the bottom. So it's basically saying, here's what I just output. And she did. She, in fact, read it to me. She said, it's the morning of November 1st, 2036, temperature 6 degrees, the likelihood of rain is 0. And then I made a little syntax error because she said, the likelihood of rain is 0. It's 63 degrees Fahrenheit. So make sure you address accordingly. What I needed to say there was, it feels like. So what I want to do is get my cursor back in there to make this make more sense. I'm going to say it doesn't want me to get in that little spot. Get in here, you. All right, I'll have to run my cursor this way. It feels like, and then it'll be, okay, so if I hit play again, we'll see it down at the bottom. If I hit stop, will it still, no, okay.
While we're waiting, Pete, what is the function of the blue weather conditions in line 4? Because you get options there too, but I don't know where they show up.
Well, on line 4, it's an instruction, and we're telling shortcuts to get the temperature from a bundle called weather conditions.
I get it.
So whenever you invoke the bundle of weather conditions, it will ask you to choose one. So for instance, if we're typing out our sentence that's going to get spoken, we can tap weather conditions, but instead of just appearing as weather conditions, it's going to expand open to the bundle of weather conditions, and then you choose the one that's most appropriate. So if we wanted to also comment on the wind, we could say that too. We could then dress accordingly. The wind speed is, and then it'll tell you the wind speed. So, this is why I said that there are people who work on this for like a year. It becomes their pet project. They keep tweaking it. So it's exactly what they want. They keep tweaking the verbiage, and they get this amazing update in the morning that really tells them exactly what they want. I mean, if you're an investor and you want to put a stock in there, you can throw that in there. If you want to get local news, you can do that too. We can search in the actions over here, and we can say news, and then it can pull from the news app. So get news or show today feed. Or any of those types of things, you can tap right into the news app and get stuff from there. So for instance, you could say, show today feed, show stories from today, and then read or text, have it read, speak text from the stories. So you just basically, you can string this thing together, keep going back and tweaking it. If you got it in a working condition, but you're not sure you're going to mess it up again, you can duplicate the shortcut. You can see back here in the shortcuts field, we can duplicate it right from this menu here. You see the duplicate there. So duplicate it, experiment, expand on it, try to break it. That's my favorite thing, is try to break the darn thing and see what you can do. But yeah, there is some shortcuts there.
Pete, before you
yeah, go ahead.
When you moved back to the screen, I typed in the variation you did. It's the morning of, and then when I put my finger on the iPad, the current date, I can drag it up, but it bounces back. So when I drag it, how do I have it stay where I drag it to?
It
I'm dragging
may,
with my finger because the pencil just starts to draw.
yeah, you know what? I'm seeing that it's a little bit finicky. Like, for instance, I'm just going to attempt to move temperature. And when I attempt to move it and drop
Yeah.
it, it goes right
Yeah.
back. So
Yeah.
what I think you have to do is put your cursor in here and just get good old fashioned delete what you want and move it around. And that's maybe a feedback I would give Apple in the little feedback thing is that, hey, we'd love the ability to drag those words around and drop them in
Yeah,
place.
it looked like you dragged a drop. That's what I was.
I tried. I think it bounced back for me too. So I had to try a plan B when I did it too. So but yeah, good point. Good thing to point out. Lastly, before, as we wind down here, lastly, I wanted to dive into one last feature of this app. And again, if you're on the phone, you have a different view. Yours looks more like this. But the feature I want to introduce you to is Gallery. As you can see from my phone app, there are three icons across the bottom. Those are the three tabs of the Shortcuts app: Library, Automation, and Gallery. You see them down there all the time if you're on a phone. If you're on an iPad, they move over to the left here. They're now over on this side. So you see Gallery and Automation over on the left side over there. I'm just going to tap Gallery. Whether you're on the phone or the iPad, go ahead and tap Gallery, because this is a whole ecosystem of shortcuts that are created by either Apple or other people. Now, your first thought might be, Pete, other people might try to, scam me or steal my machine, or with, viruses, adware, software. What are you telling me? It's safe. All the things in the shortcuts marketplace are safe. Apple has sanitized them, and anybody who's uploaded something here, it's been sanitized and ensured that it is not nefarious and it will operate properly. So you can have confidence knowing as you scroll through the gallery, everything here has been vetted by Apple. Most of it's made by Apple, but I think there are some third-party things that people have created. But as you can see, just from this gallery, there are so many amazing things that you can do. Like, I'm just going to give you a for instance. I'm going to go down to photography. Okay. And look at these shortcuts that are available in photography. One of my favorite ones is the year ago. So let me just, under photography, you see where it says see all? I'm just going to use that so I can go right into this category. And I want one that, let's see. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's,
the time machine one?
yeah. Oh, I think I've already added it to my stack. So I think it's in my archive. Let me see. Time machine. I'll just search for it. There's a shortcut. It's it's called Time Machine. It's just when you tap it, it allows you to see photos from a year ago today. Now, I know Facebook has that feature and that sort of thing, which, yeah, that's fine and everything, but there's something cool about doing it on your own device. Just tapping, I'm going to go ahead and tap it, Time Machine, and it's going to pull up a photo library from 1 year ago today, if it works properly.
Is that time frame user definable?
Yes, you can duplicate the shortcut and then go in and define whatever parameter you want. And I'll show you kind of what that looks like. If you go into the shortcut, you'll see that it's engineered to, subtract 1 year from current date. Well, you can subtract 6 months, you can add, or I guess you can't add from current date, but you can add from a certain date, So yeah, you could duplicate this shortcut and hack it away the way you want it and test it out. And if it doesn't work, delete it and start over. It's really fun to tinker with these things. Game time. That was one where I was able to turn the lights down and put the projector screen down. It's like all these little things that you would have to do manually, but movie time was another one where you get all the things shut down so you can watch a movie in peace or whatever, But I highly recommend you go through this gallery. There are some breathtaking things in here, like combining PDFs or animate text on GIF. Let's just try that. Let's just animate text on GIF. What does that even mean? It's a shortcut in a shortcuts app the heck do they even mean by that? Let's try it. I'm going to click on it, animate, add shortcut. Okay, I just added it to my own shortcut. So let me go to my shortcuts over here. Animate text on GIF. Here we go. I'm going to tap it. Okay, allow. And then I get to search. What kind of GIF do I want? I want, what do I want? I want a technology, some kind of technology background. And hit enter here. Okay, now it gave me these cool backgrounds. I can click here on one of those backgrounds and say, Pete is a nerd, like this, and hit done. Where do I now, guys? This is amazing. We're still in shortcuts, but shortcuts was able to engineer all of this stuff like it was its own app. Where should the text be positioned? I'm going to say bottom middle, bottom center. And then which animation style? I guess I'll do spin. Which counterclockwise.
Wow.
So now the result is Pete is a nerd with text on a technology background that's turning clockwise. This all happened in the Shortcuts app because somebody in the gallery has engineered a series of steps that does that. And we can peek inside and take a look at what those steps are by selecting the ellipsis or the three dots. This is how they engineered that shortcut. Lots of engineering here. Somebody really spent time putting together this shortcut. But my goodness, you can see the depth to which you can get when you apply a little engineering to the Shortcuts app. So that shortcut took a background image, put text over it, and animated the text all just in Shortcuts.
So Pete, where would that show up, or how would you use that little?
Yeah, great question. It just gets saved to your camera roll once you create it. So if we look at the bottom of this script here, it basically says show GIF and quick look. And then from there, here, I'm going to show the GIF and quick look again. Or here, let me make another one. We're going to say Halloween. We're going to search for a Halloween background. Yep, here are a bunch of them. We'll just find, ooh, I like Charlie Brown. So I'm going to say, what does he always say? Charlie Brown, he says like, dag nabbit, or what's his oh bother,
good grief.
Yeah, that's good grief, that's the one, good grief. Okay, and then I'll hit done. Where should the text be positioned? I'm going to go right in the center. It's going to slide in, and then there it is, good grief, Charlie Brown GIF. Now you'll see that right on this screen is the share sheet button, that little box with the arrow popping up. If I tap that, this will allow me to now save the image to my camera roll, or I can share it with somebody right here from, through messages or whatever. It's very versatile. So I'm just going to click save image right here. And then that will now be in my camera roll that I can then share with others. But yeah, that's just one of many amazing ones in the gallery that you'll find. Every time I look here, I'm shocked by how cool some of these really are. Here's one called When Do I Need to Leave By? You can put your work address in there, and then every day, since traffic is different, you can tap it and it will estimate based on traffic right now how when you need to leave. Now I know you can do that in maps. I know you can open maps. You can say go later and tell it what time you want to arrive, and it will do the same thing. But you have to open maps. You have to punch everything in. This shortcut is engineered just to get you right to the thing you need. Share my weekend music, like under Apple Music. That's pretty darn cool. I'm going to add that to my gallery, and then share most played songs. I'm going to add that one. And I just added those two. So let's go back to and here they are. Share most played songs and share my weekend music. Well, let's do share my weekend music. It's going to start up. It's going to reach in to I haven't listened to any music in the last week. I beg to differ. Okay, instead I'm going to do share most played songs. That's what I'll do. The first one there, share most played songs. Let me tap that. Most played songs. Okay. I'll pick. Oh, those are them there. All right, then I can play. Oh, what it did is compile the. I see what it did there. Okay. So those are in the gallery. Very cool. Just going to look at a couple of more, just to to show, let's see, use clipboard. Make a GIF, convert. Oh, here, yeah, that's another one. Animate text on GIF. Shoot a GIF. Video to GIF. This might be another one you find interesting, but you can click on any one of the videos in your library and it'll turn it into a GIF file. Now, why is that important? Because I don't know, GIFs are a format that are used in various things, like maybe in a PowerPoint file or something like that. There's just lots of reasons why you might want to check out some of the shortcuts that exist here. So I think with that, since we have like 9 minutes left, I'm going to take a breath and pause and see if there are questions. And
you did have an announcement, right?
I did. It's a business endeavor. It's something that I'm doing on my own, and I wanted to make sure that MacNexus was okay with me talking about such a thing without.
I don't believe so, Bob, Mary.
I don't see any big problem with
Me
an announcement.
either.
Go for it.
All right.
He starts asking for money, that might go over the line,
but
well, how about I won't ask for any money today?
But where do I send it?
I spent the week setting up my LLC in Georgia to bring Empower Mac back. And obviously, it isn't something we can do in person, but I think I have figured out, I've been working really hard behind the scenes to figure out how to bring the best experience, because what I won't do is bring anything but the best experience. But I am currently in the process of building out a studio in my basement, which is going to be the Empower Tech Studio. And I will have classes available, just like we used to with Empower Mac, on a calendar, and you can opt in and get in at any price level you want. As always, I have a history, decades long, of being ridiculous with my pricing. It's way too low, and I know that, but I want to bring education and empowerment to everybody. So Empower Tech will launch in 2026. And as always, with my brand, the most important thing to me is that your first class is always free. I want you to come. I want you to experience any class you want on the calendar, and I want you to return, because I know that I have a decades-long history with many of you, and we have definitely grown together in many ways. The other thing too, everybody will get one free. For your first class is free, and that's a 2-hour class. So you'll get a free 2-hour class. And every time you bring somebody, their class is free, and you will receive a credit towards your next class. So just like before, prices are way too low, and the cost of entry is nothing. I want you there. I want your friends there. I want your family there. I want them to experience what it means to be empowered, to use their technology, to get the most out of it. I know y'all, I've earned some trust from you. And so hopefully you don't mind bringing in people to say, hey, this is the person you want to learn these things from. The calendar will be published, and you'll be able to opt into any of the classes you see on the calendar. They'll be on Tuesdays, and they'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. your time. So I will hold the classes on Tuesdays. There will be 4 Tuesdays in a month, then we'll skip a month. Then 4 Tuesdays in the next month, then we'll skip a month. On the skipped months, as a member, you'll receive tips and tricks from me each week, and video tutorials on how to do the things that we learn in classes. So super value for you. I've been working really hard on my end to get the LLC stood up. I'm engineering and designing a studio just in the other room to make sure that I can bring you the best. And that studio will have multiple camera angles. It'll have a giant iMac in there with a bunch of other devices that the camera can see. So there's no limit to the amount of things I can demonstrate and show in this state-of-the-art studio. I've already designed the studio in 3D as a 3D model, and this is what the studio setup will look like, is something like this. This 3D model will serve as my blueprint to get this done. You can see I'm working on engineering the studio in 3D. I have some build out to do. I have to build this back wall here, and I have to build this console and this desk. But once this is done, the lights are installed, the cameras are installed, you will see a state-of-the-art studio for you to be able to come and continue your learning, growth, and development in technology. So that's my exciting announcement. I've been working really hard over here to get this figured out. I think I finally got it figured out and really can't wait to put a calendar of classes on and really get dug into some workshops and get some projects done. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun for those of you who want to experience that continued learning and development. The classes are going to be varied. AI is just ridiculous right now. So many of the classes will be based on how to keep up with AI, how to utilize AI in your life to your advantage, because everybody else is. And that'll be some of the offering. There'll be much more as well. Traditional video editing classes, photography, Photos app, photo editing, all the things we love doing, and some very relevant things for today. Really can't wait to tell you more about it. I'm going to drop the new logo in the chat so you can have a look at that and, maybe get excited about what's to come. So, yeah.
What's the website?
Not ready yet. Not ready yet. I just got the LLC done and got all the paperwork filed in the state of Georgia. So I am ready for that part. And now the build out of the website and the studio begin. What I'm going to do is create a blog so you guys can see my progress. I'm going to show you when I break ground in the studio, I'm going to show you stages of it being built, show you the state of the art technology that I'm building into the studio so you can watch along the way. And I intend for the first class to be held in February of 26. In January, we'll be ramping up with some social media, some email campaigns, and ways to get you connected with what's on offer. And then in February of 26, we'll hold our first calendar of classes. I am offering a very generous low price to you as founders to come in early. And I can't wait to announce that whole structure to you, but it is really pro customer because that is where my heart has always been. I have never had a customer who walked away dissatisfied. And if I felt there was any indication that they were, I shoot money at them. I say, here's all your money back, first of all, because I don't want you to pay a dime if you're not 100% satisfied. And second of all, let's sit down and talk about the issue you had or the problem that you are still trying to solve, and let me help you solve it. So I really think I'm going to add lots of value to those who want to continue to grow in their technology and to keep up with AI and all the things that are coming. So thank you for allowing me that announcement. I really appreciate it. But I have a feeling that this next endeavor starting in February will be a great companion to MacNexus, and side by side will be stronger than ever.
Terrific.
Look forward to it.
Woo! I'm excited just because I love to do this stuff for you guys. And this crew here is my favorite because you guys don't let me get away with anything. And I really like that.
A question
You'll
for
get the
Al.
information to us through MacNexus. I'm
What's
sorry,
that?
you'll get the information to us through MacNexus.
Yeah, once the website is built, what I'll ask is, I'll definitely go to MacNexus leadership and ask if they would, maybe get the word out. But I'll also just rely on word of mouth. You'll know the website soon enough, and you'll get, signed up on the website so I can be announcing to you via either text or email when things are happening. And hopefully you bring others in and get them ready for their free class and to experience a topic of their choice, of their liking on me. And yeah, we'll see how things progress. I'm just really excited. I think we have tons of foundational experience doing this. I don't know if you've ever been to an EmpowerMac class from back in the day, but we learned so much over a decade of doing those classes. Actually, 15 years we did those classes. Started in the warehouse of a CompUSA. I don't know if you guys remember, but the general manager allowed me to take the TVs out and remodel it into a huge classroom with a projector mounted on the ceiling. I spent blood, sweat, and tears building that classroom, and you guys filled it. Every night it was packed. It was standing room only. And we learned so much in those classrooms, and I don't want that fire to die. I love that. Burning flame is so beautiful, of learning, of getting together, of community. I don't want it to die.
Wow. Well, and we will be seeing you again on the 19th.
Yep,
For
the general meeting.
So just Yeah, just a reminder to everybody. And Thomas, I'm sorry if you were going to do this, but because of Thanksgiving, it's not going to be on the third Wednesday. It'll be on the 19th or whatever it is. It's going to be on the 19th because of
The
Thanksgiving
third
this time.
Wednesday instead of the fourth.
Thank you, Bob. I knew somebody would
and
know.
the same thing in December. It'll be on the third Wednesday instead of the fourth for the same reason.
And Pete has agreed to, because Ken's gone, so Pete's stepping in. So thank you, Pete.
Yeah, Ken will be home a couple days before Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah.
One last thing I want to regarding the shortcuts topic. There's a site there I posted there in the chat. A gentleman named Matthew Castanelli. He's been doing shortcuts for like forever, and he has a significant library. So go check it out. He has, you can pay for some of this stuff, but he's got just this massive catalog of stuff, and it's ongoing. So you might want to take a look at it. You might find some value there.
That's a cool logo.
Yeah.
Now, Bob, thank you for mentioning that logo. I buried a little Easter egg in there as a tribute to Empower Mac. Now, for those of you who are around for Empower Mac, you remember that the O in Empower Mac was the power button, the old power button. But as you know, the power button has given way to the sleep wake button. So if you look at the O in Empower Tech Labs, you'll see a sleep wake button there, which gives way to the power button. So a little tribute from the past, a little honoring our heritage there. But yeah, really excited to get this spun up.
Woo-hoo.
Nice.
My life's passion project, and it's never been about money for me. Even if I just break even or whatever, it doesn't matter. I just really love to watch you gain the knowledge you need to reach your aspirations with your technology. It really does make a difference to me. So thank you for that. Really appreciate this opportunity. We'll see you on the general meeting here soon. I've already given the topics to Bob, so keep your eye out for the blast. Bob, since you haven't blasted yet, maybe I ought to change the general meeting to Affinity so we can spend an hour walking through that. Because
you want to do that? Yeah, just send the.
Maybe I'll send a new blur.
Say.
Okay. All right. Well, we're over time. I don't want to keep us.
Mary and I will take care of it.
Okay. Appreciate that. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for the time. Hopefully,
thanks, Pete.
Let me know if you made shortcuts. I want to see your shortcuts. I want to see your progress. Let me know when you make shortcuts. I want to hear from you. All right. We'll see you later. Thank you.
All right. Check out the
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Go get that loaf proofed.
Yeah. I got to go get that office done. I'm ready.
And tell us how you get so much energy. Bye.
Question for Al.
Yo.
How'd you make your name float up the screen?
My name? There's a React down there. I just picked an effect.
Because all of a sudden I saw your name floating from the bottom up to the top.
Yeah.
Oh, look at all the hands. Okay.
Yeah. They're down at the bottom. You can hit the heart button there, and there's React, and it has an assortment of reactions as well as a send with effect. And one more thing to play with. I just wanted to give Pete a big something demonstrative. Great class.
He always packs in so much information.
Oh, I know, man. My brain explodes. And every time I went in the Power Mac weekend, it was the same thing. Man, I got to remember all of this stuff. But they were fun and always pretty well thought out. And it was I gained a great deal of value from it, and thought the prices were reasonable.
It was fun to watch Al set up. He bring an entire minivan worth of equipment with him.
I just wanted to be ready. Had to have some of the toys in place,
Well, today was so good. I guess Bev started it off, but that whole thing that we spent a lot of time on the Q&A this morning was definitely worth it.
Yeah. Did we? I got in about.
And then the second thing.
Oh,
I got in a little late. Did I miss a great deal? Can someone also send me a copy of the?
I'm gonna stop the live stream now, folks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Al, he started recording almost right at 9 o'clock, so
Okay.
that'll show up on the